The demon-wearing talisman was incredibly strange. Ordinary talisman paper couldn't bear it. A special talisman ink was required to ensure the drawn talisman wouldn't disappear. The old Taoist was certain of this and said to Bai Yu with a smile, "It seems you haven't given up yet."
Old Taoist, I'm a man of my word.
Of course, you'll get your materials. Never mind a bit of talisman ink, even if it were 10 pounds, you'd get every last drop. You're the one who said it. Then make it 10 pounds of talisman ink. Oh, and also, get me 20 bundles of iron gold swords. The old Taoist's beard bristled. Kid, are you treating my place like a warehouse? But Bai Yu just grinned. Taoist, you were the one who said materials were no issue.
You can't go back on your word, can you?
The old Taoist was speechless.
Fine.
Yuan Wu, go prepare the materials for him. Give him exactly what he asked for. The tall Yuan Wu looked anxious. Why won't this person listen to reason? He's actually gotten into a standoff with Master. How could a young hothead possibly outsmart a 1,000-year-old fox like Master? He shot Bai Yu a look, trying to signal him to leave and not get further entangled. However, Bai Yu seemed to completely miss his meaning. Instead, he looked at the old Taoist provocatively. Since we've made a bet, shall we make it a little more interesting? The old Taoist chuckled. Kid, trying to provoke me won't work. But, I do enjoy a good gamble. What did you have in mind? Bai Yu said, let's raise the stakes.
He will forge the demon-breaking sword within a year. If he fail, he'll be yours servant for 20 years. If he succeed, busy the purple mystic bow, you'll give me another demon-dispelling treasure for free.
Furthermore, whoever loses has to call the other dad. The old Taoist looked at Bai Yu with surprise, unable to figure out what he was planning. Could this kid really forge a demon-breaking sword? But he quickly dismissed the thought. What a joke. Condensing 18 types of runes within a year?
That is beyond a talisman genius.
Unless he has the legendary talisman forest body, it's impossible. And the talisman forest body is a legendary constitution, rarer than a heavenly spiritual root, appearing only once every 10,000 years. The old Taoist quickly calculated the pros and cons. If Bai Yu failed, he'd get a servant for 20 years for free. If Bai Yu succeeded, it meant he had discovered a peerless talisman genius. Parting with 2 demon-dispelling treasures for such a discovery was completely worth it. No matter what, he couldn't lose. The old Taoist glanced at Bai Yu. Fine, I'll take that bet. But let's be clear, the talisman array on the demon-breaking sword you forge must be functional, and the sword itself must be able to shoot 100 zhong away. Bai Yu snorted. It's a deal.
Shall we swear at demon what?
The two of them each swore a heart demon oath, sealing the bet. Without another word, Bai Yu collected his materials and left. Back in his room, Bai Yu first took out the cloud-patterned jade pendant and familiarized himself with the forging process for the demon-breaking sword. Mastering 18 types of demon-dispelling runes was just one step. He also needed to learn the art of rice grain carving, and how to combine the 18 types of runes into the Qian Gang Divine Light Talisman Array. Each of these skills would take an ordinary cultivator decades to learn. Bai Yu directly raised both skills to the great accomplishment level. Then, as was his custom, he first lit incense for Lord Guan.
Lord Guan, your disciple Beijing forging the demon-breaking sword today. Please bless me.
If I succeed, I'll burn a set of moon-powered chargers for you. Bai Yu had once asked Lord Guan in a dream why he always rode a bicycle when he could be riding a fancy electric vehicle. The Lord had explained that the underworld had no sun, so electric vehicles couldn't be charged. Thus, Bai Yu thoughtfully prepared a full set of moon-powered chargers for him. Afterward, Bai Yu meditated to get his body and mind into peak condition. Only then did he take out an iron sword and begin carving the runes. Holding the carving knife, his other hand danced like a butterfly across the sword's body, carving out runes smaller than grains of rice. The runes began to glow with various colors, like tiny lit lanterns. However, when Bai Yu carved the 90th rune, the sword began to tremble and melted into a puddle of iron. Expressionless, Bai Yu took a deep breath and quickly composed himself. This demon-breaking sword was harder than he had imagined. On a sword hilt as thick as a little finger, he had to carve 1,800 runes, each one incredibly complex, with lines finer than spider silk. The hardest part was that these runes had to combine to form a massive talisman array. The slightest mistake would cause the spiritual energy to flow improperly, wasting all his efforts. For lines finer than spider silk to carry the spiritual energy of a huge array, the difficulty was immense. It was only because Bai Yu had directly raised all the key skills to great accomplishment that he could carve over 90 runes in one go. Anyone else would be lucky to carve 10 without it exploding. Without a word, Bai Yu took out another iron sword and began carving. In the following days, he forgot to eat or sleep, completely absorbed in forging the demon-breaking sword. He never left his room except to deal with his demon burials, refusing all visitors. As he worked day and night, he got closer and closer to success. 90 runes, 200, 500. Finally, after a month, he successfully forged a demon-breaking sword. Forging the demon-breaking sword was one of the most complex tasks Bai Yu had ever undertaken. After several months of sleepless work, he finally finished one. An iron sword was densely packed with countless runes, all integrated into a seamless whole, exuding an aura of ancient profound mystery. Baiyu let out a long sigh of relief and collapsed. He slept for a full day and night. This time, he dreamed again. It was that same seductive demoness. As before, it was a night of passion, but this time, the demoness' face was clearer than ever. It was that purple demon. Baiyu woke with a start, not feeling refreshed but with a strange sense of exhaustion. Damn it, I've really been tainted by the demonic corruption. If I don't find a solution, I'll be possessed by that purple demon sooner or later. Baiyu quickly used the Sutra of Sitting and forgetting to erase the purple demon's image from his mind. However, in the following days, the image of that seductive demoness would pop into his head from time to time. At first, it was just a fleeting image, but gradually, it began to linger for longer. Even with the Sutra of Sitting and Forgetting combined with his underworld spring technique, he could only temporarily erase it. An hour or two later, the image would return, and it would stay for a little longer each time.
Achil ran down Baiyu spin.
If this image of the purple demon completely occupied his mind, it would mean his consciousness was being usurped. He didn't dare report it to the sect. Demonic entities were strange and hard to defend against, and the sect might not have a good solution. Or rather, for someone of his value, the sect might not be willing to spend a great deal on him. If he reported being tainted by demonic corruption, the most likely outcome was being isolated and put under house arrest. Gritting his teeth, Baiyu made a decision. He had to get a demon-dispelling treasure as soon as possible to suppress the demonic corruption. Without another word, he called over Lao Mo. Man and dog began to work tirelessly day and night. A week later, he finally achieved his goal. By now, the image of the purple demon in his mind lingered for over 3 seconds. Taking a deep breath, Baiyu rushed to the Yi-Wu Hall's demon-dispelling pavilion. He announced loudly, "Old man, I'm here." The white-bearded old Taoist was taken aback. The agreement was for 1 year, and it hasn't even been half a year. Why are you here? A flicker of curiosity appeared in his eyes. Could I have truly met the legendary talisman forest body? If so, just reporting this to the sect would be worth far more than 2 demon-dispelling treasures. But the old Taoist immediately dismissed the thought. How could a talisman forest body appear so easily? And even if it were one, half a year is too short.
Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
The old Taoist sneered, "Kid, I think you've lost your mind. Or have you realized how difficult it is and decided to give up?" Baiyu said, "I've already forged the demon-dispelling sword. Are you planning to go back on your word?" The old Taoist curled his lip, convinced that Baiyu was just bluffing. This kid probably gave up but can't admit it, so he casually forged a sword. When it fails the test, he'll use that as an excuse to concede. The old Taoist wore a smile, thinking he had seen through Baiyu's little scheme.
Oh, where is this demon-breaking sword?
A treasure this important shouldn't be shown just anywhere. It's best we find a private, spacious place. The old Taoist, like a cat playing with a mouse, said with a smile, "Fine, as you wish. Follow me." He led Baiyu into a small pocket dimension. It was a cave heaven treasure, with an interior space the size of a soccer field. The old Taoist looked at Baiyu.
All right, let your performance begin. Baiyu gave a mysterious smile.
The next moment, he waved his hand, and an object appeared before him. It was a pillar, several zhang long and as thick as a nuclear warhead. The pillar was carved with countless runes, the grooves filled with cinnabar. "What is this?" the old Taoist asked. Baiyu replied, "The demon-breaking sword, of course." The old Taoist nearly exploded on the spot. "You call this a sword?
What kind of sword is thicker than a man's waist?
Even a mace isn't this. Mace-like." Baiyu said, full of confidence, "You only said it had to be a sword, you never specified its shape or size. Even if I forged a sphere, it would still be a demon-breaking sword." Baiyu casually sent a stream of spiritual energy into the demon-breaking sword. The runes on it immediately lit up, and the array composed of 1,800 runes began to operate. "See? The talisman array is fully functional." The old Taoist looked at Baiyu, then at the pillar, and suddenly asked, "How did you do it?"
Don't tell me you condensed 18 spiritual aperturatons.
Without them, you couldn't possibly remember 18 types of runes simultaneously. Baiyu smiled faintly. "Why would I need to remember 18 types of runes at once? I only need to remember one type, carve 100 of those runes in different locations on the demon-breaking sword, then move on to the second type, the third, and so on. In the end, I just combine them and activate the whole thing with talisman ink." The old Taoist stared at Baiyu as if he'd seen a ghost. He understood what Baiyu meant. Baiyu had drawn the 18 types of runes separately and then pieced them together on the pillar. To ensure the spiritual energy flowed smoothly, he carved all the lines extremely thick, especially at the intersections. Great strength creates miracles. The thick, sturdy rune lines naturally increased the overall stability 100-fold. This was also why Baiyu had brought a pillar. Only something this thick could withstand such a crude method. If it were a sword, any small mistake would have ruined it. The old Taoist was speechless. He, a master trickster, had been tricked. He had only ever scammed others, but today, the tables had turned. He never imagined Bai Yu's thinking would be so unconventional. A situation where he was guaranteed to win had been broken in such a manner.
Bai Yu smiled.
Taoist, I successfully forged the demon-breaking sword. Where are my 2 demon-dispelling treasures? A man can't go back on his word, right? The old Taoist took a deep breath and suddenly said, Fine, I admit what you forged is a demon-breaking sword. He took out a large purple bow and a red candle. The 2 demon-dispelling treasures are right here. However, there was another requirement. The demon-breaking sword must be able to shoot 100 zhong. He looked at Bai Yu with a sneer. The iron gold used to make this is incredibly heavy. This pillar must weigh at least 200,000 pounds. I'd like to see how you shoot this pillar 100 zhong. If you can't, not only will you not get these 2 treasures, but you'll also have to be my servant for 20 years. Bai Yu chuckled and pointed to the base of the pillar. You see this iron ring here? As he spoke, he flexed his right arm, grabbed the ring, and lifted the massive pillar with one hand. He took out a bow with his left hand, grabbed the pillar with his right, and with a powerful throw, hurled it over 100 zhong. The old Taoist was completely stunned. Bai Yu smiled shyly.
Sorry, I happen to be naturally strong.
He walked up to the old Taoist and snatched the 2 demon-dispelling treasures.
J'im det.
Bai Yu snatched the 2 treasures from the old Taoist's grasp.
J'im det.
The old Taoist's face was etched with pain. 2 demon-dispelling treasures, worth over 200,000 contribution points, gone just like that. He had thought that, at worst, he'd discover a talisman genius. Who knew this kid wouldn't play by the rules and turned a demon-breaking sword into a demon-breaking pillar? But Bai Yu wasn't done with him. He raised an eyebrow. Old man, we had an agreement. Whoever lost had to call the other dad. The old Taoist's mouth opened, but he didn't know what to say. For an old man with a white beard to call a young punk dad, he really couldn't bring himself to do it. Bai Yu chuckled lightly. You're not thinking of going back on your word, are you? Can a man's words be treated like farts? The old Taoist's face looked like he was constipated, his old face flushed red. His lips moved, but he just couldn't say the words. Just then, Bai Yu waved his hand. Stop, stop. I was just joking with you, Taoist. How could I really make a senior say that? It's always good to leave a way out for future encounters. Bai Yu's principle had always been to prioritize substance over empty titles. Since he had gotten the 2 demon-dispelling treasures, what was the harm in giving the old man some face? This old Taoist ran the only demon-dispelling shop on the 2nd floor. His power and background were clearly not simple. Bai Yu had no need to make a mortal enemy over a matter of pride. As expected, the old Taoist let out a sigh of relief, though he still grumbled. It's not that I was going back on my word, it's that you, my young friend, wouldn't let me say it. Exactly, Bai Yu said with a smile. It was all a joke. However, I have a small request. I'm very curious about demon-dispelling treasures. I wonder if the Taoist could explain them to me in detail. The old Taoist, having been spared, said magnanimously, demon-dispelling treasures are no great secret. You would have learned about them sooner or later. I'll tell you about them. He cleared his throat and began to explain the origins of demon-dispelling treasures to Bai Yu. Demonic entities are strange and unpredictable. In the beginning, they brought great harm to the human race. Generation after generation of human sages began to search for ways to deal with them. As the saying goes, for every poison, there is an antidote nearby. The same is true for demons. After countless years of searching, humans discovered many things that could suppress them. These were the first demon-dispelling treasures. Some of them naturally had mysterious patterns on them, which became the origin of demon-dispelling runes, known as Yang talismans. Demons also have weaknesses against each other. For example, the heartblood of the blood demon race can counter the perversity of the Yin demon. Some runes obtained from demons have a restraining effect on other demons. These are called Yin talismans. Later, people began to inscribe these Yang and Yin talismans onto items with demon-dispelling properties, and these became demon-dispelling treasures. The old Taoist was knowledgeable and a great talker, speaking with great enthusiasm. Bai Yu listened intently, occasionally asking a well-timed question to spur the old Taoist on. Listening is an art, and flattery is an even greater one. Knowing how to praise someone subtly, making them feel comfortable and willing to talk more, is a deep skill. The once clumsy Bai Yu had since studied the art of flattery seriously. He gave the old Taoist a few well-placed compliments.
The touche à tête d'Apili.
During the conversation, Bai Yu casually asked, Taoist, if someone were to be tainted by demonic qi, how would they deal with it? The old Taoist, not holding back, said, reciting the 5 thunder mantra and drawing the Yang 5 thunder talisman can both remove a certain amount of demonic qi. Bai Yu then asked, what if they were corrupted by demonic thoughts? The old Tao Shi, happy to show off his knowledge, replied, that's more troublesome.
You need to recite the golden light mantra or cultivate the ice atar.
Some demon-dispelling treasures also have a suppressive effect. Bai Yu silently committed golden light mantra and ice heart art to memory. After a while, the two finished their pleasant conversation. Bai Yu cupped his hands. Listening to your words, Taoist, has been a great harvest for me.
When you make it big in the future, ILLB surtout patronise your shop more.
The old Taoist looked at Bai Yu, then at the demon-breaking pillar in the distance, and suddenly said, Friend Wu Chang, are you interested in working here at my shop to earn some contribution points?
What kind of work?
Bai Yu asked.
Forge un demon-breaking sword.
Bai Yu had no intention of revealing that he possessed 18 types of demon-dispelling spiritual apertures. Such a thing was too outrageous and would surely attract investigation if exposed. He shook his head like a drum.
I can't do that.
This pillar alone took all my strength.
A real demon-breaking sword?
I don't have the ability to remember 18 types of demon-dispelling runes at once. The old Taoist smiled. Of course not a real one, but a simplified version. It only requires combining 3 types of demon-dispelling runes. And you don't need spiritual apertures. There are other ways to temporarily master 3 types of runes. The only requirement is a certain foundation in talisman arts.
The deeper, the better.
He looked at the demon-breaking pillar. Judging from how this pillar was forged, friend Wu Chang should be a 3rd-grade talisman master or higher, right? Although you lack apertures, being able to combine 1,800 runes is no easy feat. An idea struck Bai Yu. He was just worrying about where to earn contribution points. I am indeed a 4th-grade talisman master. How is the pay calculated? For successfully forging one simplified demon-breaking sword, you get 500 contribution points. This was a very high price. As a grave attendant, Bai Yu's monthly contribution point income was only 800. And for Bai Yu, forging a simplified demon-breaking sword wasn't too difficult. Bai Yu pondered for a moment. Taoist, allow me to consider it. I'll give you an answer in a few days. The old Taoist nodded in agreement. Bai Yu bid farewell to the old Taoist and headed straight for the shop that sold various cultivation techniques and scriptures. He searched but couldn't find the so-called golden light mantra. He did, however, find the ice heart art, which cost 15,000 contribution points. Bai Yu's pockets were empty, he didn't have enough. He had to settle for buying an archery manual first and went straight home. Upon arriving home, he immediately took out the 2 demon-dispelling treasures to inspect them. The first was a purple longbow. The body of the bow was covered in mysterious and profound patterns. The moment he held the purple mystic bow, Bai Yu felt a coolness spread through his body, as if he were surrounded by a cleansing aura. His mind, which had become somewhat muddled due to the demonic corruption, became clear again. Bai Yu was overjoyed. This purple mystic bow really does have a restraining effect on the demonic corruption. He flipped his hand and took out the second treasure, the yin-yang red candle. He lit it, and a gentle yellow light spread out in all directions. In the stone room, wisps of black demonic chi became visible and dissipated in the candlelight. Even Bai Yu's own body emitted wisps of demonic chi. Bai Yu let out a long sigh of relief. He placed the purple mystic bow on his lap and sat cross-legged in the candlelight, reciting the sutra of sitting and forgetting over and over. Finally, the image of the purple demon in his mind was forgotten again and no longer appeared involuntarily. The demonic corruption seemed to be temporarily suppressed. Still, I need to get my hands on the golden light mantra and the ice heart art during this time. Looks like I'll have to go work for the old Taoist. Having resolved the issue with the demonic corruption, Bai Yu finally relaxed. He had been so worried about it getting worse that he hadn't even dared to leave the demon burial pagoda. This time, he had to make up for it. As soon as he stepped out, he saw the Shiaksha Han Li, carrying 2 jade coffins. Bai Yu called out, Friend Yiksha, please wait. Han Li was still in her tall, sturdy, beautiful form. She turned to look at Bai Yu. Oh, it's friend Wu Chang.
What can I do for you?
Bai Yu walked over and took the jade coffins from her hands. What's with all this friend business?
Just call me Wu Chang.
We've been through life and death together, why be so distant? I was just about to go out for a walk. I'll help you bury these 2 demons.
Han Li loguet d'artillerie.
I was just thinking the same. When Yi Ya and I came to visit you before, your door was closed.
I took you des forgotten your old friends.
Bai Yu paused for a moment. He had been so entangled with the demonic corruption and focused on the demon-breaking sword that he hadn't noticed. I've been busy day and night recently and neglected you too. In a few days, I'll host a dinner and treat you both to drinks. After chatting with Han Li for a bit, Bai Yu rode the stone turtle down to the Beacon Fire Mountain to bury the demons. Success.
Burier one chi démon. Base reward. Spirit route plus 7, life experience plus 3,660,000.
Optional rewards, Chi Demon Chi 6, Intermediate Demon Core 3. Burial participation, 66%. You may select one additional reward. The skill reward was as generous as ever. As for the optional rewards, there was really no choice. Bai Yu wouldn't touch something like demonic chi with a 10-foot pole. He had to choose the intermediate demon core. 3 dark red crystals appeared in his hand. After stowing the demon cores, he looked at the second reward. Success.
Burier one chi démon. Base reward. Cultivation plus 38 years, life experience plus 4,730,000.
Optional rewards, Chi Demon Chi, 7, Intermediate Demon Core, 5.
Shadow Shuttle, Ghostly Shadow Step. Without a second thought, you chose the Ghostly Shadow Step.
Ghostly Shadow Step, Earth Grade, Middle Tier Movement Technique.
When used, you move like a ghostly shadow.
Compatibility with Spirit Origin Wind Treading, 59%. Following his usual routine, he directly invested life experience to merge the two techniques. Fusion successful. Obtained movement technique, Forest Origin Shadow.
Forest Origin Shadow, Earth Grade, Upper Tier.
Can create afterimages. Bayou's body moved, and instantly, two identical afterimages appeared around him, making it impossible to tell which was real.
Not bad, not bad.
With this Forest Origin Shadow, I'll have another layer of security when I enter the small demon realm. Bayou was in a great mood. Burying people was so satisfying. The second floor of the demon burial pagoda was just too dangerous, otherwise, it would be a paradise on earth. After composing himself, he went to the demon dispelling pavilion again. No matter what, he had to accumulate some contribution points, whether for buying ammunition or treasures. In the demon dispelling pavilion, the white-bearded old Taoist was still lying on his bamboo chair, napping with his eyes closed. Bayou cupped his hands. Old Taoist, I'm here to work. The old Taoist stretched lazily.
Frien Wuchan, Yurir.
Yuanwu, take our young friend to the workshop in the back and teach him how to forge the demon-breaking sword. The honest-looking big man came out and looked at Bayou with some embarrassment.
My name is Yuanwu.
Follow me. Bayou followed Yuanwu into a secret room, cluttered with iron gold, cinnabar, and other materials. Yuanwu handed Bayou an iron sword. Friend Wuchang, how is your rice grain carving skill?
It's alright, Bayou said.
I've barely gotten the hang of it. Please, demonstrate a little, Yuanwu said. Bayou took the carving knife and, intentionally appearing a bit clumsy, carved a few longsword runes on the iron sword. Yuanwu took the sword and inspected it. Friend Wuchang, although your technique still has some flaws, it's not far from being proficient. To achieve this in a few months is very impressive. It took me a year to reach your level. Bayou smiled lightly and asked curiously, Friend Yuanwu, how do I go about forging this demon-breaking sword? I can't remember that many demon-dispelling runes. Yuanwu smiled slightly and took out 3 beads of different colors from his pocket, handing them to Bayou. The beads were crystal clear, and at the center of each was a runed runes for 3 different demon-dispelling spells. These are spirit aperture beads, forged from the spiritual apertures of our predecessors. As long as you activate these beads, you can temporarily master the 3 demon-dispelling runes.
Bayou Sudanli understood.
Generally, when a cultivator died, the rune spiritual apertures in their mind would dissipate. But legend had it that there were a few methods to preserve them. Although using a predecessor's spiritual aperture wasn't as good as condensing one's own, it could still achieve a minor accomplishment level. Bayou tried activating the 3 beads. Sure enough, he temporarily remembered 3 demon-dispelling runes in his mind. The techniques of a spiritual master, to be able to refine a predecessor's spiritual apertures into a treasure, are truly powerful. Seeing this, Yuanwu chuckled. Actually, Master isn't a bad person, he just loves to play tricks. Don't worry, he won't really make you work as a servant for 20 years. He'll pay you half your wages at the end. And who knows, he might even take you as a disciple. That's how I got started. The big man still thought Bayou had lost the bet and was trying to comfort him. Bayou didn't say much, just asked, Friend Yuanwu, what should I do next?
Yuanwu handed Bayou a jade slip. This time, he'll teach you how to forge the golden light sword.
It's based on the golden light talisman, rebirth talisman, and demon locking talisman. You need 120 of each rune, combined to form a golden light talisman array. Bayou looked it over and got a general idea. 3 types of runes, a total of 360. The difficulty was several times less than a real demon-breaking sword, but it was by no means easy. Bayou began to learn how to forge the golden light sword from Yuanwu. At first, he deliberately acted clumsy, ruining dozens of iron swords. But each time, he would make some minor adjustments, showing progress, but not too much. Yuanwu watched Bayou's progress and was very satisfied. On the 8th day, Bayou successfully carved his first golden light sword. Yuanwu was overjoyed. Friend Wuchang, you truly have an extraordinary aptitude. It took me half a year to carve my first one. But you're still a little behind my martial brother Wu, he succeeded in 5 days.
Bayou smiled without a word.
If he wanted to, he could have succeeded on the first day. He finished forging the golden light sword and said with a tired look, I can't take it anymore. These spirit aperture beads are too mentally draining. Indeed, Yuanwu said. The talisman array is complex, and the beads consume a lot of mental energy. Even now, I can only forge 1 golden light sword a day. Bayou took the golden light sword and exchanged it for 500 contribution points from the white-bearded old Taoist before returning home. In the following days, He deliberately controlled his success rate, forging one golden light sword every 3 or 4 days. For a novice, this was considered excellent, but not so much as to be conspicuous. In this way, he quietly accumulated contribution points. One day, Yuan Wu patted him on the shoulder. "Wu Cheng, do you have a team for the small demon realm trip?" Yuan Wu suddenly asked if Bai Yu had a team for the small demon realm trip. Bai Yu replied, "The list isn't out yet. I don't know if I'm on it this time." Besides the chosen ones, others can also volunteer to participate. Everyone has to participate at least 9 times anyway. "Brother Wu Cheng, I advise you to go this time. This trip is to a small demon realm controlled by the sect, so the danger is at its lowest." Bai Yu was thoughtful. Hearing this, it seemed there was more than one small demon realm, and the next one might be much more dangerous. "I don't have a team. What are the requirements for joining one?"
Yuan Wu loguet d'artillerie.
"There aren't many requirements, as long as the team isn't too big. But for a novice, it's better to have someone to guide you. As it happens, one of our junior brothers is out on a demon training mission. Brother Wu Cheng, why don't you join our team?" Yuan Wu warmly invited Bai Yu. Bai Yu quickly considered it. He definitely needed to find a team for his first time in the small demon realm. Rather than begging others, it was better to go with Yuan Wu. Having spent some time with him, he knew Yuan Wu was a rare, honest person without any ulterior motives. Thinking of this, Bai Yu nodded. "Then I'll have to trouble you, friend Yuan Wu." "It's settled then," Yuan Wu exclaimed. "We'll set off in 3 months. I'll introduce you to a few companions then." Bai Yu considered it internally. "I'm entering the small demon realm in 3 months. I'd better make more preparations." After forging a golden light sword, Bai Yu returned to Prince Six's tomb chamber. This time, the chamber was bustling with activity. It turned out the list for the small demon realm trip was out. 5 people from Tomb 6 were participating, and Bai Yu and Yiya were both on the list. Yiya was busy trying to recruit people. "Friend Faping, let's team up for this trip. I found a team with a Golden Core Senior."
Frien Béchi, let's team up.
"We'll have company, and with a Golden Core Senior looking after us." In a few moments, Yiya had recruited the other 3, excluding Bai Yu. Bai Yu walked past and greeted him. "Friend Yiya, you're busy." Yiya, thinking Bai Yu also wanted to join, looked at him with a smile.
Frien Wuchan, what a coincidence.
"Our team is already full. I'll talk to that Golden Core Senior another day and see if we can add another spot for you." Another day was just a polite way of saying no. Bai Yu, with his sharp mind, immediately understood Yiya's subtle rejection. However, on the surface, he still smiled. "Friend Yiya, thank you for your trouble. But it's alright, I can find a team myself." Back in his room, Bai Yu couldn't figure out where Yiya's hostility came from. He hadn't offended Yiya. On the contrary, they were card-playing buddies. But Bai Yu didn't dwell on it. He turned to Lao-mo, "We need to make ample preparations." Lao-mo barked a few times in response and took several explosive flame talismans from Bai Yu. He indicated that he had a brilliant idea but couldn't explain it right away. Bai Yu smiled, patting the dog's head, encouraging Lao-mo's creative freedom. Meanwhile, Yiya sneered inwardly. "Ha, Wu Cheng, you want to join our team?
In your dream.
You're just a grave attendant who stole my position.
What is so great about you?
I came to visit you, and you shut the door on me." He even secretly hoped that if Bai Yu died in the small demon realm, the grave attendant position would be his for the taking. Bai Yu was unaware of this. If he knew that such small matters had made Yiya hold a grudge, he would only find it amusing. In the following days, Bai Yu spent his time either burying demons or going to the demon dispelling pavilion to forge golden light swords. The work was tedious, but Bai Yu enjoyed it. After all, each golden light sword represented 500 contribution points. Gradually, he improved his proficiency and could forge a golden light sword every 2 days. In just over 2 months, he had accumulated more than 13,000 contribution points. He first went to the cultivation technique area and bought an archery manual, the wind-chasing arrow art. It was Earth grade, upper tier. This manual cost Bai Yu over 5,000 contribution points, and that was after a discount because the skill was so niche. Bai Yu had learned crossbow skills in the mortal world, but those were just skills, not even considered low-grade magic. Bai Yu casually merged the crossbow skill with the wind-chasing arrow art.
The wind-chasing arrow, arbaroli changed.
Without a second thought, he smashed 1,000,000 life experience points into it, raising the wind-chasing arrow art to the great accomplishment and perfection realm. The archery skill was acquired, now he could use the purple mystic bow. But he still lacked arrows, he needed to buy a batch of demon-breaking swords. Bai Yu went to the demon dispelling pavilion and cupped his hands in greeting to the old Taoist. "Taoist Wu, I'm here to buy a batch of demon-breaking swords." These days, Bai Yu had become friendly with the old Taoist and knew his Taoist name was Wuweizi. The strangest thing was that the old Taoist seemed to have no magical power at all. He never seemed to cultivate, just lay on his bamboo chair sleeping all day. Taoist Wu stretched lazily and pointed to a shelf. "They're all over there.
One sword fort à tous en contribution point.
10. And the old Taoist will give you a 20% discount, 800 each. Bai Yu went to the shelf and looked them over. There were several types of low-tier demon-breaking swords: the Golden Light Sword, for dealing with shadow demons; the Blood-Dissolving Sword, for countering blood demons; the Five Thunder Sword, which had some effect on all demons; and the Pure Yang Sword. The contribution points Bai Yu had were only enough to buy 10 simplified demon-breaking swords. The Purple Mystic Bow was one of his greatest assets for this small demon realm trip. He couldn't be short on arrows. He looked at Taoist Wu Wei. "Master, can we discuss something? Do you think I could get them on credit?" The old Taoist flatly refused. "This shop does not offer credit." "Master, I can pay 3/10 interest." "Only 3/10? Who are you looking down on?" Bai Yu said, "All right, I can give you an advance on 3 months' salary, no interest."
BUS facely up.
"Master, you're a straightforward person." Although this old Taoist sometimes had a sharp tongue, he was quite generous. Bai Yu selected 30 arrows, mostly 5 thunder swords, with a few golden light and blood-dissolving swords as well. As he was about to leave, Taoist Wu Wei called out to him, "Kid, if you die, where am I supposed to collect my debt?" Bai Yu stopped. "Then Taoist, what do you mean?" The old Taoist tossed him a bottle of pills.
Demon dispelling pill.
"They have a demon-dispelling effect." Bai Yu caught the pills and chuckled.
Taoist, don't worry, I guarantee you won't die.
He returned to his room and forged a few more golden light swords himself, even spending a great deal of effort to make 2 full-fledged demon-breaking swords. Just then, good news came from Lao Mo. Lao Mo rushed over excitedly to show off his treasure.
Woof woof woof.
A whoa.
Look at my new invention.
Before Lao Mo was an iron ball the size of a basketball. Bai Yu asked, puzzled, "What's this?" "Woof woof.
Super explosive flamme bombe.
Blast radius of 100 zhang." Bai Yu looked closely and saw many explosive flame talismans inside the iron ball. It seemed Lao Mo had combined refining with talisman arts. "So, how do you use this thing?" Lao Mo looked proud.
Woof woof woof.
"It's voice activated. If you sing a song to it from within 1 qi, it will explode immediately." Bai Yu was speechless. "Activates from 1 qi away, explodes immediately, with a blast radius of 100 zhang. I wouldn't say this thing is useless, at least it's convenient for suicide." Bai Yu patted Lao Mo's head. "Lao Mo, try to increase the range a bit. And it can't explode immediately, you need to leave some launch time." Lao Mo looked thoughtful and quickly went back to modifying his invention. Meanwhile, Bai Yu began to practice the wind-chasing arrow art. Although his proficiency was already at the great accomplishment level, he still needed to get a feel for it himself. Finally, the day of the small demon realm trip arrived. Bai Yu and Yi Yu's group stepped onto the teleportation array together. After a dizzying spin, Bai Yu appeared in another space. Behind him was a row of huge stone halls, and in the sky, a 5-colored light shield protected a 10 li radius. There were people everywhere. Bai Yu looked around and saw the big guy Yuan Wu, waving at him from a distance. Beside him were 2 women and another man.
Broder Wuchan, overir, overir.
Bai Yu went over and cupped his hands.
Frien Yuan Wu, sorry to bother you.
Yuan Wu enthusiastically introduced him.
This is my third junior brother, Mo Feng.
He's the fastest and excels at hit-and-run tactics and scouting. Bai Yu looked at the young man, who was dressed in white and had an arrogant look on his face. "Friend Luo Feng, nice to meet you." The white-robed young man just nodded in response. Yuan Wu then pointed to the 2 female cultivators. "This is my 6th junior sister, Shui Mei. She's skilled in the plum blossom art. And this is Ji Yu, who specializes in healing." Bai Yu cupped his hands in greeting. "I am Wu Cheng. It's a pleasure to meet you 2 senior sisters." On paper, Bai Yu's cultivation was the lowest, at the mid-stage of foundation establishment. Yuan Wu was at the peak of foundation establishment, and the other 3 were at the late stage. So calling them senior brother and senior sister was always correct. The 2 female cultivators smiled and returned the greeting. Just then, the white-robed youth, Luo Feng, glanced at Bai Yu.
Wuchan, isit? What can you do?
"Let me be clear, we don't carry dead weight in our team." Bai Yu knew he had to show some skill now. After all, no one wanted to carry a burden. He said calmly, "I know a little archery." As he spoke, he flipped his hands, and a large black bow appeared in his palm. With a smile, he fired 2 consecutive arrows. The first hit a flying bird. The second pinned a fly to a tree. Shui Mei's eyes curved into crescents. "Friend Wu Cheng, your archery is excellent. Hitting a fly from 100 zhang away, how did you do that?" Bai Yu put away his bow. "With no women in my heart, my archery is naturally divine." He had shown off his skill, and the others no longer dared to look down on him. They began to gradually accept him. On the other side, Yi Ya and his group had joined a Golden Core Cultivators team. He shot Bai Yu a smug look. With a Golden Core Cultivator as a backer, He was sure he wouldn't lose to Bai Yu this time. Bai Yu was completely unaware of this. After about half a day, a large hole appeared in the protective light curtain. The teams around them began to leave in 2s and 3s. Outside is the small demon realm. Let's go, Yuan Wu said. He took the lead and stepped out of the protective array, with the others close behind. As they walked, Yuan Wu took out several high-grade counterfeit horse talismans and gave one to each of them. The area around the camp has already been cleared.
Let's head deeper. And remember, no flying.
Everyone applied the high-grade talismans and moved like the wind. In no time, they had traveled over 100 li. Bai Yu was on high alert, paying close attention to his surroundings. The area was filled with weeds, with an occasional ancient stone house. The air was a mix of demonic and spiritual qi. After walking for a while, another stone house appeared ahead. Just as he was about to ask, Shui Mei said grimly, "Something's not right. The patterns on that stone house are identical to the one we passed before." Yuan Wu also realized it. "We've been walking in circles." He took out a compass and, staring at it, headed northeast. However, after about half an hour, the same stone house appeared in front of them again. They had returned to their starting point. Not only that, but a team had appeared in front of them out of nowhere, moving silently forward. This time, Yuan Wu didn't say anything and changed direction, heading northwest. A strange scene unfolded. The team in front of them was heading northeast, while Bai Yu's group was heading northwest, yet the two teams were getting closer and closer. Eventually, they were walking side by side. Bai Yu looked at the other team and saw that the people in it were identical to his own group, as if there were a mirror between them. When Bai Yu's group walked, they walked. When they stopped, they stopped. The two teams got closer and closer, and the people on the other side had eerie smiles on their faces. Bai Yu felt his hair stand on end. Yuan Wu said grimly, "We've been caught."
Stick close to me, don't fall behind.
A yin-yang red candle appeared in his hand, and he lit it. The gentle candlelight illuminated the area, and the once straight path under their feet became crooked and winding.
Yuan Wu suddenly sped up, moving like the wind.
Bai Yu and the others hurried to keep up, not daring to fall a step behind. The team of figures behind them also sped up, but they were blocked by the candlelight. Eventually, Bai Yu's group left them far behind. A moment later, the path ahead became normal again, and the stone house disappeared. The demonic qi in the air grew thicker. Yuan Wu took a deep breath. This should be about right.
Now, let's start looking for the origin point.
Shui Mei, your spiritual sense is strong. You and I will take turns using the spirit eye bead. He took out a black eyeball and placed it on his forehead. Then he began to search as he walked. Bai Yu was puzzled and caught up to Shui Mei. "Senior sister Shui Mei, what is friend Yuan Wu doing?" Shui Mei smiled. "He's using the spirit eye bead to find an origin point."
What is an origin point?
"No one knows for sure what it is," Shui Mei said.
It could be a rock, a bird.
"But origin points usually contain something mysterious. It could be a demon, or it could be an origin stone. Our goal is to find the origin point, either to seal the demon inside or to get the treasure." Bai Yu understood and became more and more curious about these origin points. However, as they walked, Yuan Wu and Shui Mei took turns using the spirit eye bead, but found nothing. Yuan Wu looked tired.
The spirit eye bead consumes too much spiritual sense.
Shui Mei and I can't hold on much longer.
Let's call it a day here.
We'll try again tomorrow. Just then, Bai Yu stepped forward.
Let me try the spirit eye bead.
Seeing that everyone was about to give up, Bai Yu stepped forward. "Why don't I try this spirit eye bead?" Yuan Wu was a bit surprised. "Brother Wu Cheng, this spirit eye bead consumes a lot of spiritual sense. I'm at the peak of foundation establishment, and I can only last for half an hour." "It's fine," Bai Yu said. "My spiritual sense is naturally a bit stronger." Bai Yu cultivated both the immortal and the yin-yang paths. Every time his yin-yang path broke through, his spiritual sense would be strengthened. He himself couldn't say how strong his spiritual sense was, but it was definitely stronger than an ordinary peak foundation establishment cultivator. Seeing this, Yuan Wu handed the black eyeball to Bai Yu and taught him the method to use it. "Brother Wu Cheng, look with your mind's eye." Bai Yu took the spirit eye bead and, following the incantation, refined it. Instantly, it felt as if he had a third eye on his forehead, and the world looked different. He could see strands of demonic qi and spiritual qi intertwined. However, his field of vision was not large, only about 20 to 30 zhang. It seemed he would have to search bit by bit. Bai Yu took the lead and began to search with the others following. After a quarter of an hour, they had only searched a range of less than 10 li, and naturally, found nothing. Bai Yu thought to himself, "Another quarter of an hour. I must stop after another quarter of an hour, or I'll expose the strength of my spiritual sense." Yuan Wu could last for half an hour, and Shui Mei for 3/4 of an hour. So Bai Yu set a limit for himself of 2/4 of an hour. Thinking of this, he secretly activated his qi-gazing art. Instantly, the world changed again. All kinds of qi surged and mixed in the heavens and the earth. And what do you know, He actually found an unusual spot. Without changing his expression, he led the group towards it. Only when they were about 10 zhang away did he pretend to be surprised. Hey, there's a strange vortex over there. Yuan Wu heard this and was overjoyed. What are its characteristics? It's about the size of an egg, and it seems to be constantly emitting demonic qi, but I can't see it very clearly, Baiyu said. Yuan Wu took the spirit eye bead and, circulating his technique, looked in that direction. That's right, that's right. This is an origin point. If we get an origin stone out of this, we'll be rich. He immediately turned and gave orders. Same old plan. I'll take the front.
Luo Feng, you flank.
Junior sister Shui Mei, prepare the sealing art. As for Wu Cheng, Yuan Ji, you provide support from the rear. Without a word, Baiyu tightened his grip on the purple mystic bow, ready to strike. Yuan Wu, seeing that everyone was ready, gave a low shout. His whole body burst with golden light, and he was suddenly wearing a suit of bright armor. In his hands, he held 2 steel whips.
Tous en army whip, break formeux.
He slammed a whip into the origin point. Instantly, the vortex-like sphere shattered like glass. Everyone held their breath and looked inside. However, it was empty.
No demon, no origin stone.
Just then, Baiyu quickly switched his weapon and fired an arrow at Shui Mei. The arrow was as fast as the wind, aimed straight at her. Everyone's expression changed. They had no idea why Baiyu would suddenly attack a teammate. Shui Mei turned her head just in time to see a gleaming arrow heading straight for her head. She was about to dodge when the arrow arrived. Swoosh! The arrow grazed past Shui Mei's face and hit a spot behind her. A dazzling golden light erupted from the arrow. In the golden light, a figure stumbled out of space. It was a humanoid demon with a goat's head. Only then did everyone realize that a Qi demon had been hiding there. Yuan Wu reacted immediately, shouting and charging over, his 2 steel whips smashing down on the demon's head. The others also used their own techniques to surround and attack the demon. In the blink of an eye, the demon was hit by 4 or 5 attacks and sent flying, one of its arms blasted off by Yuan Wu's whip. Just then, it opened its mouth and let out a shrill scream. The sound was sharp and piercing, carrying a special demonic power that actually caused the blood in everyone's bodies to run wild. Yuan Wu and Luo Feng, being the closest, immediately turned beet red, their hearts pounding like drums, the veins on their faces bulging as if about to explode. Everyone hurriedly circulated their techniques to suppress the rampaging qi and blood in their bodies. In that brief moment, the demon's severed arm regenerated, and the wounds on its body healed. It gave a strange laugh and was about to dun into the shadows to assassinate Shui Mei, who was in the worst state. However, just then, a golden light sword shot out, faster than the speed of sound.
The golden light sword, trailing a wake of air, shot straight through the demon's body.
The runes on the sword activated, and balls of golden light enveloped the demon, temporarily preventing it from dun into the shadows. By now, Yuan Wu and the others had recovered. They each used their own techniques to bombard the demon. Yuan Wu swung his double whips, Luo Feng shot out 2 double-pointed steel needles from his hands, and Shui Mei and Ji respectively activated a copper coin and a red embroidered ribbon. Baiyu could see that these were all demon-dispelling treasures. With so many of them attacking at once, the demon was instantly beaten into submission and suppressed. Yuan Wu took out several spirit talismans and stuck them on the demon, then used a gourd to capture it. That was close. If Wu Cheng hadn't reacted quickly, we would have been in big trouble. He looked at Baiyu and asked, "Brother Wu Cheng, how did you discover that demon?" Baiyu said faintly, "I used to be a dancer and am a little more sensitive to killing intent." Yuan Wu patted the gourd. An upper-grade Qi demon is worth at least 300 demon refining points. That's 60 points per person. A good haul for today. Friend Yuan Wu, Baiyu said, what are demon refining points? Before Yuan Wu could open his mouth, Shui Mei walked over to Baiyu and patiently explained. Demon refining points are similar to contribution points. They represent the number of demons you've refined. 1 demon refining point can be exchanged for 4 contribution points. Most importantly, once you accumulate 1,000 demon refining points, you can become a demon refining envoy and be authorized by the sect to refine demons independently. Shui Mei smiled at Baiyu, her eyes full of amusement. Baiyu's decisive action had saved her just now, and now the more she looked at him, the more she liked what she saw. Baiyu was thoughtful. This demon refining envoy sounds like someone who can directly kill and bury demons. If that's the case, I'll have to get that status somehow in the future. Just then, Yuan Wu looked at the sky. It's still early.
Let's continue searching for origin point.
With 3 people taking turns using the spirit eye bead, it was much less tiring than before. Baiyu, however, said that his spiritual sense was at its limit and he needed to rest. He handed the spirit eye bead to Yuan Wu. Yuan Wu persisted for half an hour but found nothing. When it was Shui Mei's turn, she took out 3 copper coins and performed a divination. After the divination, she led the group east. Whether it was luck or something else, they actually encountered another origin point. This time, the origin point was the size of a basketball. Yuan Wu's expression turned serious.
Be careful.
This origin point either has a large origin stone or a powerful demon inside. Bai Yu and the others had found another origin point, and this one was several times larger than the first. Everyone was on high alert. Yuan Wu, as before, took the lead, wearing his bright golden armor and holding his double whips, standing at the very front. With a single strike, he shattered the origin point. Crack! The origin point broke in half, revealing what was inside, a transparent stone the size of a palm, with a strange luster on its surface.
En origin stone.
Yuan Wu exclaimed in delight.
Quick, seal it.
Xue Mei, who was already prepared, cast a spell, sealing the area around the origin stone, even isolating the air. Xue Mei let out a sigh of relief and explained to Bai Yu, this origin stone is very strange. It becomes whatever it touches. If it touches spiritual energy, it becomes spiritual. If it touches demonic qi, it becomes demonic. Once it's tainted with demonic qi, it will turn into a demonic entity, and we won't be able to absorb it anymore. Yuan Wu took out a jade knife from his pocket and cut the origin stone into 5 pieces, placing them in jade boxes. Xue Mei, knowing Bai Yu was new, kindly explained to him, the origin stone can't be touched by the 5 elements either, or it will become an ordinary 5-element spirit stone. It can only be stored in specially made jade containers. Bai Yu nodded repeatedly. If he had to figure out these things on his own, he would have made countless mistakes. Following a senior could save him from a lot of trouble. Of course, the prerequisite was not to be a burden, otherwise, he would be kicked out sooner or later. Just then, Yuan Wu lined up the 5 jade boxes.
This jade box can store the origin stone for Toulon.
Let's divide it up and take turns refining it. Yuer and I will choose last. Ji Yu was a lively and clever girl, and she and Yuan Wu were a couple. She had been calling him Brother Yuan throughout the trip, spreading their affection everywhere. Yuan Wu and Ji Yu choosing last would ensure fairness. Senior brother is always fair, Luo Feng said. Just pick one. He didn't even look and casually picked a box and began to refine it. Bai Yu also picked a box. Inside was an origin stone the size of an egg. He didn't know how to start refining it when senior sister Xue Mei walked over to him again. The origin stone has unique properties. You have to wrap it in your spiritual sense and absorb it into your sea of consciousness to slowly refine it. It can't be touched by the 5-element spiritual energy, she said with a smile. Bai Yu, without changing his expression, activated his qi-gazing art and examined the origin stone from top to bottom. After confirming there were no issues, he absorbed it into his sea of consciousness and began to refine it. Instantly, a cool energy flowed down from the top of his head, spreading throughout his body. Bai Yu felt incredibly comfortable, as if every cell in his body had been activated and revitalized. His cultivation began to slowly increase. An egg-sized origin stone actually increased his cultivation progress by 1%. This effect was several times stronger than an Earth-grade, upper-tier pill. Even his physical strength had increased slightly. If he had enough origin stones, he could reach the peak of foundation establishment in a few months. Beside him, Xue Mei smiled at Bai Yu. The feeling of refining an origin stone is quite magical, isn't it? Bai Yu nodded. Indeed. I feel very comfortable, and my cultivation has increased a lot. There are many benefits to origin stones, Xue Mei said. I've heard that some people awaken miraculous physiques after refining them. Others suddenly comprehend various talents. It's a pity that origin points are hard to find, and origin stones are even rarer. Sometimes you can search for a month and not find a single one. Bai Yu was thoughtful. He gripped his purple mystic bow and moved to the side to stand guard for the others. Finally, after about half an hour, everyone had finished refining their origin stones, and they all looked delighted. Finding 2 origin points today was extremely lucky, Yuan Wu said. It's getting late. Let's head back quickly. It gets more dangerous outside at night. No one else had any objections. They applied their high-grade counterfeit horse talismans and began to head back towards the camp. The journey back was uneventful. After half an hour, they could see the outline of the camp in the distance. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. However, they didn't know when, but a white fog began to gather around the 5 of them. In the fog, there seemed to be a jumble of indistinct whispers.
Bai Yu, look over here.
Bai Yu suddenly heard someone calling his name from behind. He instinctively felt the urge to respond, his curiosity driving him to turn around and see who was calling him. Just then, the purple mystic bow in his hand became scorching hot. Bai Yu immediately came to his senses.
Demon Burial Iron Rule, never use your full name, never look back.
This was the small demon realm. No one here would know his real name, Bai Yu. So there was a ghost in the fog. Looking at the others, their eyes were also hazy, as if they had also heard whispers and calls. Only Yuan Wu, whether because his spiritual sense was strong or his mind was pure, seemed unaffected. His expression changed, and he took out a red candle and lit it. Heaven and earth are vast. The candlelight shines in all directions. Let all evils return to their place. The dim candlelight illuminated the group, and the other 3 immediately regained their clarity. The white fog began to slowly dissipate. In the fog, a huge demonic shadow was revealed. The shadow was several zhang tall, with 2 horns on its head, bulging muscles, and sharp bone spurs.
A lit démon.
Baiyu couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. The Li demon he had encountered before had left a deep impression on him. Even after being refined for months and its strength greatly reduced, it had still caused him a great deal of trouble. He never expected to run into a full-strength, wild Li demon here. Yuan Wu's expression also turned grave.
A lit démon.
This is going to be a tough fight. Luo Feng quickly glanced at the sun in the west. It would set in less than 3/4 of an hour. That means we have to finish it within 2/4 of an hour. Otherwise, once night falls, we don't know what we'll encounter. A sense of urgency gripped everyone's hearts. Just then, the Li demon roared and charged towards them. With every step, the ground trembled. Baiyu, without a word, drew his bow and fired several consecutive arrows. Wind-chasing consecutive arrows. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 3 demon-breaking swords, trailing white wakes of air, shot towards the Li demon. However, the Li demon didn't dodge and charged straight at them. The 3 demon-breaking swords hit it, sending sparks flying, but they couldn't break through its defense at all. Just then, Yuan Wu let out a roar, and his body swelled up like an inflatable doll. He was already tall, and now he grew to a height of 1 zhang. But compared to the Li demon's 3 zhang plus frame, he still looked tiny. Yuan Wu, clad in golden armor, swung his 2 steel whips at the Li demon. The Li demon casually threw a punch, and the air rippled like a mountain. Bong! Yuan Wu was sent staggering back by the punch, taking 5 steps back before he could stop himself. But he only became more ferocious, charging up again to entangle the Li demon. Baiyu and the others also assisted from the side, beginning to surround and attack the Li demon. The ground was a mess of flying sand and rocks, the noise like thunder. The sun in the sky slowly set, and night was about to fall. Baiyu's group of 5 and a Li demon were locked in a fierce battle. Yuan Wu, in his golden armor and wielding his double whips, faced the Li demon head-on. Although his strength was far inferior to the Li demon's and he was knocked back with every exchange, he stubbornly drew the Li demon's fire. Meanwhile, Baiyu, Xuemei, and Jiyu used their various long-range techniques to harass it, while Luo Feng was like an agile swallow, circling the Li demon, his pair of Amei piercers constantly attacking it. However, a Li demon was a Li demon for a reason. Its body was incredibly tough. All their attacks only produced sparks, unable to break through its defense. On the contrary, the Li demon's counterattacks were incredibly fierce.
A single casual strike sans dem reeling.
By now, the sun had begun to set, and mist was rolling in from the distance like a tide. In a few moments, it would engulf them. Luo Feng, who was rapidly circling the Li demon, shouted, "Its weak spot is its navel. We have to be quick."
It's almost dark. I can feel something in the darkness coming for us.
Jiyu, seeing the situation, pulled a hairpin from her hair and threw it at the Li demon. The hairpin grew in the wind, transforming into a 3-foot-long white rainbow that stabbed at the Li demon's navel. Clang!
A sound of metal on metal rang out.
Not even a scratch was left on the Li demon's navel. It roared, grabbed the hairpin, and threw it into its mouth, chewing it with a crunching sound. Jiyu's face turned pale. It's no use. I can't break through its defense. Xuemei was also anxious. In terms of attack power, Senior Brother is the strongest, but he has to face the Li demon head-on and can't get away. If only Second Senior Brother were here, his golden red spear would definitely be able to break through its defense. Just then, less than 10 li behind them, the night was rushing in. Yuan Wu shouted, "In a moment, I'll hold it off for a few breaths. Everyone, scatter and run. As many as can escape." Baiyu's heart sank. If they scattered, they would definitely be picked off one by this Li demon. And who knew what was hiding in the darkness behind them? If they really split up, it was hard to say how many of the 5 would survive. Baiyu said in a low voice, "You guys hold it down, I have a way to break its defense." Yuan Wu, hearing this, had no choice but to take a gamble. He shouted, 10 breaths. I can only give you 10 breaths.
Xuemei, Yker, ben it.
Jiyu threw out a red ribbon, which instantly wrapped tightly around the Li demon's upper body. Xuemei activated a copper coin, which shone down on the Li demon's head, locking its hands. Yuan Wu and Luo Feng, seeing this, also used their own techniques to suppress the Li demon. At this moment, spiritual energy surged through Baiyu's body. The purple mystic bow glowed with a purple light and let out a hum. Baiyu switched to a blood-dissolving sword, drew the purple mystic bow to its maximum, and poured all his spiritual energy into the arrow. Swoosh! The arrow shot out, spinning rapidly like a tornado.
Wind chasing arrow, hurricane arrow.
The arrow, trailing a white wake of air, cut through the sky and hit the Li demon's navel. This time, the arrow finally broke through the Li demon's defense and entered its body. The blood-dissolving runes on the arrow began to take effect, corroding the Li demon's blood and essence. The Li demon's indestructible demonic body finally showed several vulnerabilities. Everyone's hearts leaped with joy. Finally, we broke through its defense. Now it'll be easy. However, just then, the lead demon let out a heaven-shaking roar. A bloody light erupted from its body, and its muscles swelled by another third. It actually forced the blood-dissolving sword out of its body. The wound on its navel was healing at a visible rate. The lead demon roared, its power exploding. The red ribbon and Shui Mei's copper coin instantly made a sound as if they were about to break. Just as the lead demon was about to break free, a figure shot towards it like the wind. It was Bai Yu. He was holding the dragon-slaying blade, which was crackling with lightning. With the full power of his demon burial martial arts, he unleashed a single strike. The dragon-slaying blade, carrying flashing lightning, plunged directly into the lead demon's navel, all the way to the hilt.
The azure jade divine thunder on the blade erupted, reeking havoc inside the lead demon's body.
At this moment, the lead demon could no longer maintain its indestructible form, and many weak points appeared on its body. Seizing this opportunity, Yuan Wu and the others also took out copper nails and hammered them into the lead demon's various weak points. Everyone let out a long sigh of relief. "Brother Wu Chang," Yuan Wu said, "I didn't expect your attack power to be so strong." "Not at all," Bai Yu said with a laugh.
"I'm just a little stronger than average."
Bai Yu knew that to gain a foothold in the team, he had to show his value. Yuan Wu might be a kind person who had given him a hand, but if Bai Yu was too much of a burden, the others would definitely have objections. So, Bai Yu positioned himself as a jack of all trades. His spiritual sense wasn't as good as Shui Mei's, but it was a little stronger than an ordinary person's. His strength wasn't as great as Yuan Wu's, but it was a little greater. His scouting ability wasn't as good as Luo Feng's, but he was a little more sensitive. He was a little stronger than an ordinary cultivator in every aspect, but not by much. This way, he could become a true member of the team without revealing his true strength. Just then, Yuan Wu cut open the blood demon's abdomen and took out an irregular red stone from its dantian.
A demon jade.
This lead demon actually had a demon jade inside it. "We've hit the jackpot this time, haha." He collected the red stone along with the lead demon's body. By now, the sun on the horizon was just a sliver. The night behind them was less than 100 meters away. The darkness was like a primordial beast about to devour them, lunging towards the group. "Run. Don't get swallowed by the darkness." Yuan Wu shouted, leading the group in a frantic dash. Bai Yu ran at full speed, keeping his pace in the middle of the pack. The night behind them grew closer and closer, and strange nightmarish laughter seemed to float right behind their ears. They sprinted towards the camp. The camp was in sight, but just then, the night caught up to them. Black tentacles reached out for them. Bai Yu's heart sank, and he prepared to unleash his power. Just then, Yuan Wu took out the yin-yang red candle from his pocket and lit it.
The dim candle illuminated the group, driving back the darkness.
The tentacles sizzled and melted like ice and snow upon touching the candlelight.
A shrill scream came from the darkness.
However, the red candle in Yuan Wu's hand was also burning at an extremely fast rate. In an instant, it had shrunk by a third. Seeing this, Bai Yu and the others pushed their speed to the maximum. Finally, the 5 of them dashed into the camp. By now, the red candle in Yuan Wu's hand was just a short stub. He panted heavily. "We finally made it back to camp. We used up a lot today, but with a decent demon jade, it wasn't a loss." Bai Yu thought to himself and asked, "Friend Yuan Wu, what's this demon jade used for?" Bai Yu asked curiously, "What's the use of a demon jade?" Shui Mei walked over to Bai Yu and explained, "A demon jade is the crystallized essence of a demon, like a bezoar from an ox or a gallstone from a dog. It can be used in alchemy. Pills made with demon jade are called jade pills." Bai Yu's interest was piqued. He had a recipe for a chi dragon pill that required a demon jade. He would have to find a chance to try refining it with a demon jade and see if there were any unexpected results. He asked curiously, "Senior Sister Shui Mei, what's the difference between a jade pill and a regular pill?" Shui Mei smiled. "A demon jade can enhance the quality of a pill. Jade pills are a grade higher than regular pills, and they can even have some strange and wonderful effects." She pointed at Luo Feng. Luo Feng's hands became incredibly nimble, and he can sense an enemy's weaknesses because he took a jade pill. Some people even awaken their bloodlines or spiritual bodies after taking a jade pill. Bai Yu was dumbfounded. This demon jade sounds a bit magical. This only fueled his desire to obtain demon jades and practice alchemy. "That's incredible," he exclaimed. Shui Mei nodded in agreement. Anything related to demons is strange and unpredictable. Whether it's demons, origin stones, or demon jades, they often have the power to turn the mundane into the miraculous. For us cultivators, cultivation level determines everything. A chi refinement cultivator has no chance against a nascent soul patriarch. But demons are different. A Tsang demon could potentially kill a nascent soul patriarch with a surprise attack. Bai Yu was thoughtful. I'm starting to get it. Using a gaming analogy, cultivators and dancers were like stat-based characters where level determined everything, and fighting above one's level was incredibly difficult. But demons were more like mechanism-based monsters. As long as their mechanisms were strong enough, their cultivation level wasn't as important. That's why anything related to demons was so strange and unpredictable. As he was thinking, Yuanwu led the group to a large hall to turn in their demon and demon jade. As it happened, Yi Ya's group was also there. When Yi Ya saw Bai Yu, he suddenly raised his voice. Friend Bai Shi, wasn't I right? Following Senior Liehua is a sure thing. It's only our first day out, and our squad has already hunted 2 demons. The cultivator named Bai Shi nodded repeatedly. It's all thanks to friend Yi Ya's recommendation. Who else would have such luck? Just then, Yuanwu went to the counter and turned in 2 demons at once. A woman in a blue dress at the counter quickly said, 1 upper-grade Yin demon, worth 320 demon refining points. 1 upper-grade Li demon, worth 650 demon refining points. Her voice immediately attracted the attention of those around them. Over 900 demon refining points. Even divided among 5 people, that was nearly 200 points each. This was a considerable harvest. Converted to contribution points, that was 2,000 points, equivalent to 2 or 3 months' salary for a grave attendant. Yuanwu then handed over a demon jade. The woman in the blue dress's expression changed slightly. She turned the demon jade over and over in her hands. 1 lower-grade demon jade, weight 3 liang and 3 qin. Valued at 16,000 contribution points. Now, all the other demon refining squads were looking at them, their eyes filled with envy. Yi Ya, in particular, was completely stunned. He was starting to doubt his life. Why? I clearly followed a golden core senior, but my harvest is so much worse than Bai Yu's. At this rate, he'll definitely accumulate enough demon refining points and get a demon refining order before me again. On the other side, Bai Yu was secretly worried.
This is too eye-catching.
We'll be a target. Sure enough, many cultivators were already looking at them with calculating eyes. Just then, Yuanwu divided the demon refining points and contribution points equally among the group. Bai Yu received over 190 demon refining points and over 3,000 contribution points. This harvest was much greater than the monthly salary at the Demon Burial Pagoda. But he didn't get carried away. Friend Yuanwu, you contributed the most this time and lost a yin yang red candle. You should take a larger share. Yuanwu smiled honestly. It's fine. That was just a replica yin yang candle, not that expensive. As for credit, everyone worked hard. Why bother dividing it so clearly? Bai Yu couldn't help but sigh inwardly. This Yuanwu was a rare, honest person in the cultivation world. Since Yuanwu insisted, no one else pressed the issue. The group left the demon refining hall and went to the lodging assigned to their squad to rest. Yuanwu and Ji Yu were inseparable, calling each other Brother Yuan and Yuer nonstop. Luo Feng's hands were never still, a pair of double-pointed amei piercers dancing between them, so fast they looked like afterimages. Bai Yu went to a corner and sat down, beginning to meditate cross-legged. On the other side, Xue Mei would occasionally glance at Bai Yu. The more she looked, the more she found Bai Yu pleasing to the eye. And when he was quietly cultivating, he had a certain tranquil aura. Xue Mei thought for a moment, then went over to Bai Yu. Junior brother Wu Cheng, thank you for what you did today. Otherwise, I would have lost a protective treasure. Bai Yu opened his eyes. You're welcome. You should thank me. Xue Mei pursed her lips and smiled. This junior brother Wu Cheng is quite interesting. She took out a prayer mat and sat down not far from Bai Yu. Junior brother Wu Cheng, do you have a Dao companion? Yes, Bai Yu said with a smile. Several of them. Xue Mei became interested. Oh? How many? And who are they? I have 9 Dao companions. One of them is the Moonchon Fairy, and the other 8 are also the Moonchon Fairy.
Xue Mei giggled.
Haha, junior brother Wu Cheng, you're a real character. You can make a daydream sound so interesting. But don't go around saying that outside. The Moonchon Fairy is already a golden core senior. Be careful not to get into trouble. Bai Yu was a bit dazed. Su Yuechon is already a golden core spirit lord. But with her aptitude, she probably wouldn't lack for spirit pills and wondrous medicines. It was reasonable that she would advance quickly. And so Bai Yu and Xue Mei chatted. Xue Mei's looks were average, not comparable to Su Yuechon or senior sister Yen Li, but she was gentle and serene, with a rippling charm all her own. The next day, the group began their demon refining journey again. Every time it was Bai Yu's turn to use the spirit eye bead, he would secretly use his chi-gazing art to assist. But he wouldn't discover the origin point himself. Instead, he would lead the group to a spot not far from it, then pretend his spiritual sense was exhausted and hand it over to the next person to discover. In this way, their squad managed to find an average of 1 origin point a day. Everyone just thought they were lucky and never suspected Bai Yu. Their harvest was quite substantial. After half a month, each of them had obtained over 1,000 demon refining points. They had also divided up several origin stones and demon jades. At Bai Yu's suggestion, they privately divided the demon jades to avoid attracting envy with too large a harvest. After half a month, this small demon realm trip finally ended. Bai Yu returned to the Demon Burial Pagoda, his heart pounding with excitement. With so many demons hunted this time, the burial business for the next few days is sure to be booming. Bai Yu returned to the demon burial pagoda and immediately went to check the tomb chambers. Sure enough, all 9 were full. Some even had 2 or 3 demons crammed inside. The most pleasant surprise was that Tomb 1 and Tomb 2 each had a purple demon.
Bai Yu's eyes lit up.
In his eyes, these demons were more alluring than any peerless beauty. They were all plump, tender, and delicate burial rewards. But, as the old saying goes, you can't rush a good thing. Bai Yu quickly calmed down. All he had to do now was wait for the demons to be refined. He returned to his room and first slept soundly with Lao Mo. When he woke up, he was full of energy. A dark red, irregular stone appeared in Bai Yu's hand. It was a demon jade. It was said that using this demon jade in alchemy could improve the quality of pills and occasionally produce magical effects. He had just happened to get 2 demon jades, perfect for alchemy. Thinking of this, he took out a jade slip and carefully examined the Chi Dragon Pill. Chi Dragon Pill, Earth Grade, lower tier. Not yet learned.
Sans.
Bai Yu thought for a moment and first smashed 1,000,000 life experience points into it, raising the proficiency of the Chi Dragon Pill to the great accomplishment and perfection level. Then, he took out his pill furnace and vigorously rubbed Lao Mo's head. Lao Mo opened his mouth and spat out streams of demonic fire, beginning to heat the furnace. Bai Yu's hands moved like a blur, adding one herb after another, refining them. Finally, he added half a demon jade. This entire process was incredibly practiced, as if he had done it countless times. An hour later, a medicinal fragrance wafted from the furnace. The lid opened, revealing 5 round, crimson pills. The surface of the pills had a gentle glow. Bai Yu took one out and examined it closely. 5 pills from one furnace. And in terms of quality, they were indeed better than ordinary earth-grade lower-tier pills. A hint of joy appeared in Bai Yu's heart. It seems the demon jade really does improve the quality of pills. Just then, a notification came from the burial master's record. Alchemist level increased. 4th grade alchemist. Successfully refining one type of earth-grade pill makes one a 4th grade alchemist. Even in the Leong sect, a 4th grade alchemist held a certain status. Bai Yu put away the Chi Dragon pills but didn't take one right away. After all, this was made with a demon jade. When it came to things related to demons, one could never be too careful. He first went to the medical hall, paid off his debt to Taoist Wu Wei, and then bought a few pairs of first-tier spirit pets, the softbone rabbits. Bai Yu divided one Chi Dragon pill into 10 parts and dissolved 1 part in water, giving it to a male rabbit. If this rabbit is fine, then there shouldn't be any problem. This was called animal testing. A day later, the male rabbit was fine. The female rabbit was dead. And the male rabbit was now furiously humping a piece of wood, which was starting to smoke. Bai Yu continued his experiments. The results were very gratifying. When the male rabbit ate it, the female rabbit died. When the female rabbit ate it, the male rabbit died. When both the male and female rabbits ate it, the rabbit exploded. Bai Yu was actually relieved. It seemed that besides a small side effect, the Chi Dragon pill was harmless. He also took a Chi Dragon pill and placed it in his mouth to refine. Half a day later, he suddenly opened his eyes. The true essence in his body had increased by a bit, and even his 7 apertures had become stronger. A look of pleasant surprise appeared on Bai Yu's face. The effect of the Earth grade, lower tier Chi Dragon pill was actually 1/3 that of the Earth grade, upper tier Purple Brilliance pill. And it could also enhance his 7 apertures and strengthen his Yang Qi. This demon jade was truly magical. Now, Bai Yu's cultivation progress had reached 36% of the late stage of foundation establishment. If he could take a Chi Dragon pill every day, he would probably be able to reach the peak in 3 years. Bai Yu was in a great mood and went out for a walk to relax. Only then did he discover that a Bodhidharma-like puppet had been placed outside every tomb chamber. Today, it happened to be Master Shashing's turn on duty. When he saw Bai Yu looking at the puppet, he couldn't help but smile. Ba, Benefactor Wu Chang, it's been a while. You don't recognize this puppet, do you?
Bai Yu smiled back. Master Shasheng, is this some new gadget?
Master Shashing rubbed his bald head. This is a demon guiding puppet sent down by the Earth Official General. It can recite over 100 scriptures from Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, and it can also chat with people and resolve their inner conflicts. With these puppets, the number of demon rampages has been greatly reduced.
Bai Yu smiled without a word.
The research and development capabilities of the Leong sect were no joke. They had upgraded the talking puppet so quickly. Compared to Lao Mo's wild ideas, the refiners of the Leong sect seemed much more reliable. After chatting with Master Shashing for a bit, Bai Yu casually picked up 2 demons and began the burial process. One of the demons happened to be the Li demon that his group had subdued.
Bai Yu, without a word, buriez tout démon, silently chanting, dust to dust, earth to earth, from the underworld spring you shall not return.
Success. Buried 1 upper grade Li demon.
Base reward, spirit root plus 11, life experience plus 7,2 cents,000.
Optional rewards, intermediate demon core, 6, Chi demon Chi, 12, ancient brutal art, great demon body, shattering sharp claws. Burial participation, 58%. You may select one additional reward. The skill rewards from the Lee demon were as generous as ever. However, the optional rewards were a bit disappointing. He had most wanted to get the Lee demon's immense strength talent or its formation-breaking fist, which was specifically for dealing with human cultivators. Unfortunately, neither of those dropped. After a quick look, Bai chose the Ancient Brutal Art. Ancient Brutal Art, Earth Grade, Upper Tier. A savage martial art passed down from demons. An Earth Grade, Upper Tier martial art was not bad for Bai. However, its style was too different from the wind-chasing arrow art, so they couldn't be merged. All in all, it was a bit of a letdown. Bai then looked at the next reward. Success. Buried 1 upper grade Chi demon.
Base reward. Poison spirit route +3, life experience +4,360,000.
Optional rewards. Intermediate demon core, 3. Chi demon Chi, 8. Poisonous demonic aperture. Wind hearing ears. Bai hadn't been expecting much, but when he saw the optional rewards, his eyes widened. Wind hearing ears. A second-tier minor divine ability that allowed one to hear the wind from 100 li away. No matter how faint the sound, it couldn't escape your ears. A mere Chi demon had dropped a second-tier minor divine ability.
What a pleasant surprise.
It had to be said, demons were truly strange. A Chi demon actually had a talent of the minor divine ability level. Bai decisively chose the wind hearing ears. Instantly, his hearing surged. Countless sounds of wind and faint noises poured into his ears. He could even hear the rustling of insects burrowing deep underground. The flood of information almost overwhelmed his brain. He quickly collected this divine ability, a smile he couldn't suppress on his face. The burial rewards had started off so generously, and there were still 2 stronger purple demons waiting to be buried. Having obtained the wind-hearing ears, Bai was eager to try it out. He first smashed over 10 million life experience points into it, raising the wind-hearing ears to the peak of perfection. Then, he deliberately controlled his hearing to probe the sounds in all directions. This wind-hearing ears was truly miraculous. Not even the slightest movement nearby could escape his ears. Not only that, but even thick stone walls couldn't block his hearing. As he walked, he discreetly listened to the goings-on in the nearby stone rooms.
Amitabha, stop running.
If the abbot can touch it, why can't I? This was Master Shashing talking in his sleep.
Snore, snore.
This was someone snoring.
Don't come over. Brother Wang, don't. Let me see.
This sounded like Faping and Baishir playing a game.
Ah.
Bai then went to the tomb area to test it. Many demons were muttering to themselves, and some were even debating with the demon-guiding puppets. As for the 2 purple demons in the innermost area, there were still no signs of them being refined. Near one of the purple demons, Bai heard a strange whisper. The whisper had no melody, like bubbles popping from a throat one by one. Just hearing this sound made one's head spin, and their spiritual sense inexplicably began to fall into chaos. Bai quickly withdrew his wind-hearing ears and used the sutra of sitting and forgetting to guard his mind. No wonder people who have a lot of contact with demons go crazy. Just listening to them talk to themselves can throw your spiritual sense into chaos. Seeing that it would be a long time before the 2 purple demons were refined, Bai went to the demon-dispelling pavilion. Taoist Wu Wei was still lying on his chair, resting with his eyes closed. Bai came in with a food box and greeted him. Taoist, are you resting? The old Taoist's nose twitched.
What smells so good?
Last time, thanks to the Taoist's advance, I brought a few roasted rabbits and a pot of wine for you to try, as a small token of my appreciation, Bai said with a smile.
What are you waiting for?
Hurry up and serve it to this old Taoist. Bai knew Wu Wei's temper and didn't argue. He placed the roasted rabbits and 100-flower honey wine on the small table. Wu Wei didn't stand on ceremony and took a bite of a rabbit. Not bad. Wu Chang, your cooking is excellent. Crispy but not burnt, tender and juicy. But there's a bit too much. Juice.
It's a little sticky.
Bai paused. Juice? Maybe because it was a female rabbit. The old Taoist took a gulp of wine. What female rabbit? Bai quickly said, female rabbits are fattest this season. I removed most of the gamey taste but left some of the rabbit's original flavor. Taoist, you eat first, I'm going to work. He slipped away, leaving Wu Wei to smack his lips in confusion, muttering to himself, this kid's cooking is really something. And the roasted rabbit has a special flavor. I've lived for 1,000 years and never tasted anything like it. Bai slipped into the workshop. Yuan Wu was already at work. Bai greeted him and also began to forge a demon-breaking sword. The 2 of them chatted from time to time. Friend Yuan Wu, do demons have their own language? Yuan Wu had just finished forging a blood-dissolving sword and replied, I've heard from Master that ordinary demons don't have a language. They speak human or beast languages directly. But some noble demon species are born with a demon language. However, our human ears can't hear this language. Bai's interest was piqued. Human hearing was limited. For example, they couldn't hear the ultrasound of a bat. But the wind-hearing ears seemed to break through this limit, which was why Bai Yu had heard the demon's language. Bai Yu thought for a moment and asked, "Has any predecessor ever deciphered the demon language?"
Yuan Wu Shuki said.
Master never said. But I guess not. Ordinary cultivators can't even hear it, let alone decipher it. Besides, demons are too strange. Anyone who tried to decipher their language would definitely be influenced by them. Who would be so reckless? Bai Yu thought so too.
Curiosity qui aide the cat.
It was best to stay away from demons. A few hours later, he finished forging his first demon-breaking sword and successfully earned 500 contribution points. He had already decided to gradually increase his success rate to 1 demon-breaking sword per day. The following days were peaceful and fulfilling. Bai Yu spent his days burying demons, practicing alchemy, and occasionally going to the demon-dispelling pavilion to forge demon-breaking swords. His cultivation was also steadily increasing. One day, he returned to Prince Six's tomb chamber to find the hall bustling with activity. Besides Bai Yu, everyone else was there. Bai Yu listened for a bit and learned that the list for the second small demon realm trip was out. According to the rules, those who went on the first trip could rest this time unless they volunteered. Bai Yu had no intention of signing up. The harvest in the secret realm was substantial, but the danger was too great. He preferred to improve his strength step by step like this. Suddenly, amidst the clamor, Bai Yu heard a completely different whisper. Bai Yu's heart jumped, and he quickly activated his wind-hearing ears.
Duolion d'Acula.
This strange sound was very similar to the whisper of that purple demon. It's demon language. The demon language was being spoken right here in the hall, but Bai Yu couldn't pinpoint who was speaking. Is there a hidden demon in Prince Six's tomb chamber? Is it a demon in human form, or is it possessing someone? Bai Yu's mind was in turmoil. Just as he was about to fully activate his wind-hearing ears, Yi came up to him with a smile. "Friend Wu Chang, you're finally back.
I've been waiting for you."
Bai Yu's face remained impassive as he retracted his wind-hearing ears.
Frient ya, what can I do for you?
The second small demon realm trip starts in 2 months, Yi said. Will you be participating, friend Wu Chang?
Bai Yu Shuki said.
I don't plan to participate this time. Yi exclaimed in disappointment. What a pity. You're not going? Your squad had such a great harvest last time, why not go this time? The small demon realm is too dangerous, Bai Yu said. With my meager skills, I'd better just stay at the grave-tending platform and muddle through. Yi hesitated for a moment.
What a pity.
Friend Wu Chang, if you were to participate this time, Senior Liahua asked me to pass on a message. He can let you join our team. Spirit Lord Liahua was the backer Yi had been boasting about. Bai Yu's guard went up. An unsolicited offer is either from a thief or a scoundrel. This Spirit Lord Liahua definitely has ill intentions. He politely but firmly refused. I appreciate Senior Liahua's kindness, but I really have no intention of participating in the next small demon realm trip. Yi became anxious.
Frien Wuchan, d'ici sans invitation from a Golden Core Spirit Lore.
An elder's gift should not be refused. You should consider it carefully. His words even carried a hint of a threat. Fine, I'll just be direct. At the very least, just tell us how you managed to get such a great harvest. Yi finally revealed his true purpose. He wanted to know the reason for Bai Yu's squad's bountiful harvest. Bai Yu sneered inwardly. He couldn't very well say the real reason was himself. His mind raced, and he suddenly smiled. So that's what Senior Liahua wants to know. I don't know the reason either. Yi's gaze was piercing. Friend Wu Chang, you'd better think carefully. Senior Liahua might come and ask you himself. This was a direct threat. Offending a Golden Core Spirit Lord would make his future days difficult. If he had the chance, Spirit Lord Liahua would definitely send a message to Bai Yu.
Bai Yu smiled. Frien ya, you misunderstand.
I really don't know the specific reason. But before every mission, they perform a special ritual and chant a mantra. It's said to be a special prayer for luck.
Comme closer, il tell you the mantra.
But you must not tell anyone else. Bai Yu whispered a few sentences in Yi's ear. Yi's face showed a mix of surprise and doubt. This mantra is a bit too strange. Bai Yu spread his hands. Well, I've told you. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Yi left, half believing, half doubting. Bai Yu watched his retreating figure and sneered inwardly. If Yi really believes it, there's going to be a good show. Bai Yu returned to his room and pushed his wind-hearing ears to the limit. Sure enough, the strange whisper would occasionally come from the hall. Every time he heard it, his head would spin and he would become inexplicably irritable. Bai Yu quickly cleared his mind. There might really be a hidden demon in Prince Six's tomb chamber. This is a place of trouble. I'd better find a way to get transferred out of here. A sense of urgency rose in Bai Yu's heart. In the following days, he frequently used his wind-hearing ears to try and find the hidden demon, but strangely, the demon's whispers seemed to have disappeared. Helpless, Bai Yu had to put the matter aside for now. He buried demons and went to the demon-dispelling pavilion to work. Another chi demon was refined. Success.
Burier one chi demon. Reward. Poison spirit route plus 5, life experience plus 3,881,000.
Optional rewards, intermediate demon core, 3, demon chi 6, ultimate cooking skills. Burial participation, 53%. You may select one additional reward. Baiyu thought for a moment and chose the ultimate cooking skills. Instantly, a vast amount of complex culinary knowledge flooded his mind. In terms of cooking ability, he was now far superior to an ordinary master chef. Eager to try it out, he immediately cooked a few elaborate dishes and sent them over to Daoist Wu Wei and Yuan Wu. Daoist Wu Wei took a bite of a large pork knuckle and his eyes widened. Wu Chang, your cooking is as good as those immortal chefs. I didn't expect the flavored rabbit the other day was just a small taste. Yuan Wu didn't hold back and devoured a roasted chicken in a flash. This is so much better than Bigu pills.
Broder Wuchan, you're amazing.
You can cook, you can fight, and you've even cultivated archery. You're practically an all-rounder. Baiyu grinned, revealing a harmless smile. Hee, I don't know why, but some things just come to me really fast. Daoist Wu Wei, hearing this, stroked his goatee, deep in thought. In that case, Wu Chang is very likely a 100-skill spirit body. A hint of joy appeared in Baiyu's heart. This was exactly what he wanted people to think. In his current situation, he needed to gradually reveal some of his talents to make it easier to earn money or do other things in the future. So, he had already planned to attribute everything to his spiritual body. After all, in the cultivation world, there were countless spiritual bodies, some of which were strange and unheard of. For example, there was a rare spiritual body that couldn't be detected and showed no special traits at first, but as the owner grew older, their aptitude would get better and better. Those with this spiritual body usually became great in their later years. The 100-skill spirit body was similar to the spiritual body in that it couldn't be detected at all. However, on the surface, he still pretended to be clueless. Daoist Wu Wei, what's a 100-skill spirit body? Yuan Wu also asked, Master, why haven't I heard of this 100-skill spirit body? Wu Weizi looked proud. This spiritual body is extremely rare, so it's normal that you don't know. Simply put, people with a 100-skill spirit body learn everything very quickly. Many things are understood with a single hint. The downside is that they tend to be masters of none, which can hinder their cultivation. This 100-skill spirit body was the target Baiyu had deliberately chosen. Wu Weizi was indeed thinking along these lines. Baiyu said, I do learn things a little faster, but not to the point of understanding with a single hint. Wu Weizi smiled. There are all kinds of spiritual bodies. Perhaps yours is a variation of the 100-skill spirit body. For example, there's something called the 9-skill spirit body, which is similar to the 100-skill spirit body but not as exaggerated. Baiyu pretended to be enlightened. After eating his fill, he went back to work. With the wind let out of the bag, he logically increased his success rate for the demon-breaking sword to 1 per day. Wu Weizi and Yuan Wu became even more certain that Baiyu possessed a variation of the 100-skill spirit body. After a while, Baiyu's efficiency had even surpassed Yuan Wu's. He could forge a demon-breaking sword in half a day. The contribution points he earned naturally skyrocketed. One day, Yuan Wu mysteriously pulled Baiyu aside.
Broder Wuchan, don't go yet.
There's good news.
What good news? Baiyu prayed. You'll know when you get there.
It's absolutely great news. Yuan Wu didn't say more and pulled Baiyu to the second floor of the demon-dispelling pavilion. Daoist Wu Wei was wearing a purple Daoist robe, looking like a grandmaster, a far cry from the scruffy old Taoist he was before. Baiyu was taken aback. Daoist Wu Wei, you're... The old Taoist's eyes shone with a golden light. He looked at Baiyu. Wu Chang, are you willing to join our lineage? Yuan Wu quietly poked Baiyu.
What are you waiting for?
Hurry up and call him Master. Master is a peak golden core spirit lord. Baiyu immediately reacted and bowed. Disciple Wu Chang pays his respects to Master. From their previous interactions, he knew that neither Wu Weizi nor Yuan Wu were bad people, especially Yuan Wu, who was a rare, honest person. With a peak golden core expert as a backer, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage in the future. Wu Weizi showed a gratified smile. Wu Chang, our lineage is descended from the third disciple of the original patriarch, Daoist Bai Bao. We have been forging demon-dispelling treasures for the sect for generations. Rise and pay your respects to the past patriarchs. Without a word, Baiyu bowed to Patriarch Yuanlei and Daoist Bai Bao, then served tea to Wu Weizi. From then on, he became the 7th disciple of Wu Weizi, no longer a lone cultivator. Wu Weizi chuckled. Since I've accepted you, I can't be stingy.
Wuchan, if you're lacking anything, just tell your master.
Wu Chang, Wu Weizi said, if you're lacking anything, just tell your master.
Yuan Wu winked from the side.
Junior brother, our master is rich. Baiyu thought for a moment and had an idea. If he asked for too much right after becoming a disciple, it would definitely leave a bad impression on his master. But choosing something too cheap would also be a waste. So he said, Master, I've heard you mention a scripture called the Golden Light Mantra. This mantra can counter many demons and devils. I wonder if you have it? Your disciple would like to learn it for self-defense. He had been tainted by demonic thoughts before, and he didn't know if he was completely free of them. He had to be more prepared to solve the problem completely. Wuweizi pondered for a moment. I do have the golden light mantra, but I can't give it to you. He took out a black and white stone and handed it to Bai Yu. This mantra cannot be taught with words.
You can only comprehend it on your own.
How much you can comprehend depends on your fate. Bai Yu took the stone and examined it closely. The stone was naturally formed, and the black and white colors actually formed a spherical bagua pattern. A cool sensation came from the stone, clearing his mind. He hurriedly cupped his hands and bowed. Thank you, master, for imparting the scripture. Wuweizi waved his hand. No need for polite words, I don't like to hear them. You be better off cooking me a few more dishes. Bai Yu patted his chest.
Master, don't worry.
From now on, I'll be in charge of the food for our lineage. Wuweizi nodded in approval. In 2 months, there will be a major event in the small demon realm. For this, our demon-dispelling pavilion must ensure we have enough demon-dispelling treasures. We must forge 500 demon-breaking swords within these 2 months. Yuan Wu looked worried.
Master, 500 demon-breaking sword. We can't do it.
I'll call Bailong, Shui Mei, and the others over. 500 is the bottom line, it's a must. Wu Chang, you have 100 skills spirit body. You'll have to work harder these 2 months. Your target is 100 demon-breaking swords. Bai Yu thought to himself, so that's what this was all about. But it was also to be expected. If he had no value, who would take him in as a disciple for no reason? This was also why Bai Yu had to gradually reveal some of his talents. Bai Yu said in a low voice, 100 demon-breaking swords is a bit difficult. I'll do my best. But I have one request. Can I take the materials back to work on? Wuweizi nodded. You can.
Take 3 spirit aperture bead back with you for now.
But you must not damage them. These are passed down from our predecessors. If one is damaged, one is lost forever. Bai Yu nodded in agreement. Wuweizi then taught Bai Yu and Yuan Wu some cultivation knowledge for a while. As expected of a golden core spirit lord, a single casual remark from him could often enlighten Bai Yu. The path of a lone cultivator was several times harder than that of a cultivator with a true master. It could be said that having a master to guide him was of immense benefit. Half a day later, Bai Yu returned to his room. He first took out the black and white stone and tried to comprehend the golden light mantra inside. Unsurprisingly, this golden light mantra was as strange as a demon-dispelling talisman. The scripture was over 1,000 words long, but when Bai Yu read the latter part, he forgot the former. He couldn't remember more than 100 words at a time. After reading through it, he would forget everything in an instant. Helpless, he had to forge the demon-breaking swords first. In fact, he didn't need the spirit aperture beads to assist him, so he didn't need to expend a large amount of mental energy to maintain them. When he went all out, he could forge 3 demon-breaking swords a day, and there was even room for improvement. This was already extremely astonishing. The strongest among Yuan Wu's group could only manage 1 a day. Bai Yu completed the task of forging 100 demon-breaking swords in a month. But of course, he didn't hand them in right away. Instead, he began to practice alchemy and cultivate. One day, he had just taken a Qi dragon pill and his cultivation had increased by a bit. Just then, good news came from Lao Mo outside. The 2 purple demons had been refined. Bai Yu leaped up from his prayer mat. Big business had come to his door. He had been eyeing those 2 purple demons for a long time, like a weasel at a chicken coop. To prevent anyone from snatching them, he had Lao Mo keep a close watch. These were 2 purple demons. Losing even one would be heartbreaking. Bai Yu rushed to the scene at the first opportunity and put the 2 purple demons in coffins. Just then, the always polite Baisher came over.
Benefactor Wuchan, why have you come?
I was out on patrol and happened to see 2 purple demons refined, so I thought I'd bury them, Bai Yu said with a smile.
Béchi Urier forward.
How can we trouble a leader like you with such menial work?
Leave it to me.
As a grave attendant, Bai Yu was technically a leader, but usually, not many people took it seriously. Bai Yu waved his hand. It's fine. I was just going out for a walk anyway, and I needed to take a piss.
Leader, you go to the toilet yourself, I'll go for you.
What's with this Baisher guy today? He's spouting nonsense. I've never seen him flatter like this before. Bai Yu smiled and refused Baisher's flattery, then decisively took the 2 jade coffins, mounted a stone turtle, and rushed to the beacon fire mountain. In the dim sky, a gust of wind howled.
A single lantern cut through the darkness, flying low.
It was Bai Yu, riding a stone turtle, excitedly preparing to bury 2 purple demons. He was full of anticipation.
2 purple démons.
The base rewards alone would be mouth-watering, and who knew what good things the optional rewards would bring.
Suddenly, a faint, almost imperceptible cry came from the distance.
Ahead, a woman stood with her back to him, as if crying. Bai Yu's heart skipped a beat. This doesn't look good. Suddenly, the thunder fire lantern in his hand went out with a hiss. Bai Yu's heart leaped in shock. The Patriarch's thunder fire lantern actually went out. This is a first. Just then, the woman in front of him turned around. Under her long hair, there was no face. Woo-woo.
Give me back my things. Oh, give them back to me.
The woman's figure shimmered and in an instant, appeared not far in front of Bai Yu. Without a word, Bai Yu struck with a bolt of azure jade divine thunder, and at the same time, he patted the stone turtle, preparing to fly back. Just then, a sinister wind howled around them, and in the wind, there was a faint, sharp laughter. You took something you shouldn't have. You can only pay for it with your life. On the path back to the demon burial pagoda, another figure blocked his way. It was a pale-faced young man, his lips as red as fresh blood. But Bai Yu was certain that this guy was not a demon. The faceless woman from before was the real demon. Bai Yu took a deep breath. Sir, we are only 10 li from the demon burial pagoda. Do you dare to intercept me, and are you not afraid that the demon burial cultivators will come to surround and kill you? The pale-faced youth chuckled lightly. No one outside can hear or see.
Even if you scream your lung out, no one will come to save you. Bai Yu suddenly grinned.
In that case, I can rest assured. Since no one outside can hear, then I can rest assured, Bai Yu said, a strange smile on his face. His figure flashed and he disappeared. The pale-faced youth opposite him suddenly heard a gust of wind behind his ear. He had no time to react. In the corner of his eye, he saw a flash of a bright blade.
A head flew into the air, and blood gushed from the headless body.
The pale-faced youth's head, his eyes wide, shouted, "Sir, help me." A bloody light protected his head and body, and he actually tried to regenerate. How could Bai Yu let his enemy recover?
He struck without hesitation, fist shattering the star.
The muscles on his arm bulged, starlight twinkled, and he threw a punch at the pale-faced youth's head. Just then, a pitch-black flying blade slashed straight at Bai Yu's heart. It was actually a magic treasure embryo. If he continued his punch, he would definitely be hit by the flying blade. However, Bai Yu didn't dodge. A layer of gang chi condensed into dragon scales, and his entire body turned a reddish-gold color. Clang! The flying blade struck Bai Yu, sending sparks flying, but it couldn't break through his dragon scale defense. Just then, Bai Yu's fist hit the pale-faced youth's head.
Bang!
The head was smashed into a bloody pulp. A square box appeared in the air, sucking in the pale-faced youth's body along with his shattered head, suppressing it. The surging gang chi circulated, directly refining the pale-faced youth to ash. On the other side, a figure emerged. It was a burly man with a dark face, a scar running from his eyebrow to his chin like an ugly centipede, making him look exceptionally ferocious. The dark-faced man appeared and summoned the faceless demon from before to stand beside him. He stared at Bai Yu and suddenly asked, "Shadow Shuttle. The talent of a Yin demon. Which department of the human demons are you from?" An idea struck Bai Yu. This was the first time he had heard the term human demon. And it sounded like they had considerable power. Bai Yu showed no panic and snorted, attacking without reason. "Which department are you from?" The dark-faced man forced a smile, making the scar on his face even more terrifying. "Zhongba department, Mango department. Since we're all on the same side, there must be a misunderstanding. I was ordered by the Great Lord to retrieve 2 jade coffins. I didn't expect to startle one of our own. I apologize, brother."
Please release Brother Ding first.
"He's an important partner." Bai Yu was even more shocked.
What great lore?
"And what partner? The water in the demon burial pagoda runs deeper than I thought." He decided to test the dark-faced man. "I can let him go, but you have to show some sincerity." The dark-faced man smiled. "Brother is indeed one of our own."
What kind of sincerity do you want?
"Just ask." "For example," Bai Yu said, "let me send you on your way." Before he could finish, his expression suddenly changed. He stomped his foot and instantly created 3 afterimages, which shot off in 3 different directions.
Wiki l'inju en yin.
In that instant, a pitch-black poisonous snake appeared where Bai Yu had been standing. The snake split into 3 and shot towards Bai Yu's 3 shadows. 2 of the shadows were instantly pierced and shattered like bubbles. The other shadow raised its hand and released a bolt of swirling thunder, which blasted the snake into a cloud of black gas. Bai Yu looked coldly at the dark-faced man. The faceless woman beside the man had a head of hair that exploded into a mass of black poisonous snakes. It turned out that while the man was feigning civility with Bai Yu, the faceless woman had launched a sneak attack. Fortunately, Bai Yu had his wind-hearing ears on full blast and had detected the unusual movement. The dark-faced man shook his head. "A pity you dodged it. But the result is the same. You still have to die."
Four démons grand art.
As he spoke, a slit opened on the chest of the faceless woman beside him, and she actually swallowed the dark-faced man. The faceless woman's aura surged, and she transformed into a half-human, half-demon creature. Her lower body was like a python, and she had 4 arms. The face that had been featureless now had a face, which was that of the dark-faced man from before. Her voice also became very strange. Even if you are one of our own, if you interfere with the Great Lord's plans, you must die. As she spoke, her black hair transformed into a mass of poisonous snakes, which shot towards Bai Yu. Bai Yu's dragon-slaying blade hummed, and his blade chi surged, forming a blade screen to meet the attack. A series of metallic clashes rang out. Bai Yu's long blade blocked all the poisonous snakes, but his figure was pushed back again and again. Not only that, but a purplish-black liquid appeared on the dragon-slaying blade. The dragon-slaying blade, forged from purple star iron, was actually being corroded and emitting white smoke.
The half human, half de mon créature logued sinisterly.
One of its arms reached into the air, and a demonic blade appeared in its palm. It was the magic treasure that had sneak attacked Bai Yu before. The other three arms surged with demonic chi, transforming into a sword, a whip, and a hammer. The creature became a blur and lunged at Bai Yu, its attacks raining down on him. Not only that, but its long hair once again turned into poisonous snakes, attacking from all directions. Hee, I only used half my strength just now, and you couldn't handle it.
Let's see how you die now.
However, faced with this overwhelming attack, Bai Yu showed no panic. He pointed a finger, and most of his true essence was instantly drained. Then, a 5-colored bolt of lightning appeared out of thin air and whipped across. Crack. The 5-colored lightning whipped across like a whip. The demon opposite him froze in place. A gentle breeze blew past, and it turned to dust. Bai Yu's face was devoid of emotion. Coincidentally, I only used one of my trump cards just now. From Bai Yu being ambushed to him killing 2 enemies and a demon, it all happened in a flash. Bai Yu didn't stop.
Wu Nao, Li Shigu, Yemiank, King Mingfo.
He went through the motions, quickly disposing of the enemy's corpse. He took anything useful and erased all traces of the battle. This had almost become second nature to him. As he moved, his brain was still working at full speed. I'm just a foundation establishment cultivator. Why would someone spend so much to ambush me? The water here runs deep. He made a decisive decision. He activated his Wuhuan order and directly buried the 2 purple demons in the jade coffins. Success. Buried 1 lower-grade purple demon.
Base Roar. Cultivation plus 99 years, life experience plus 6,780,000.
Optional rewards, high-grade demon core 1, purple demon chi 2, bloodthirsty demonic art. 100 refinements demon core. Burial participation, 50%. You may select 1 additional reward. Bai Yu quickly scanned the rewards, his face showing a look of extreme pleasant surprise. One of the rewards made his heart pound. 100 refinements demon core.
Evengrad, upper tier cultivation technique.
Bai Yu's heart pounded as he looked at this cultivation technique. It was a very magical secret art that could increase the chances of forming a golden core. According to the technique, forming a golden core meant converting the liquid true essence in one's dantian into a solid state. Theoretically, the more abundant and higher the quality of the true essence, the higher the chance of forming a golden core. So the 100 refinements demon core took an unconventional approach. It increased the total amount of true essence by cultivating multiple techniques and letting the different true essences clash and compete, such as the 5 elements generating and transforming, and wind and thunder converging, to gradually improve the quality of the true essence. According to the information in this technique, for every additional technique cultivated to the peak of foundation establishment, the chance of forming a golden core would increase by 0.5%. Don't underestimate this 0.5%, many heaven-grade pills couldn't achieve this. Of course, this technique was not very useful for ordinary humans. Those who needed to use this method to advance were definitely lacking in aptitude. By the time they cultivated several techniques to the peak of foundation establishment, they would have long since died. Only some long-lived races used this technique. Coincidentally, when it came to longevity, Bai Yu had never been afraid of anyone. And he was already cultivating 2 techniques, so he didn't mind cultivating a few more. Besides increasing the chance of forming a golden core, this 100 refinements demon core could also build an incredibly solid foundation. Once he successfully advanced, the future rewards would be immense. Without a word, Bai Yu chose the 100 refinements demon core. He had already decided to choose a few more suitable techniques to cultivate in the future, at least to cultivate the 5 elements techniques to perfection. Then he looked at the burial reward for the 2nd purple demon. Success.
Burier 1 purple demon. Base Roar. Spirit root plus 15, life experience plus 7,770,000.
Optional rewards, high-grade demon core 2, purple demon chi 4, demonic starfist, soul-burning bloodsword. Bai Yu first claimed the base reward. Instantly, his metal attribute spiritual root reached 105, and he obtained a first-tier spiritual body, the minor Gungjin spirit body. The power of his metal attribute spells increased by 30%, and the cultivation speed of his metal attribute techniques increased by 10%. A hint of joy appeared in Bai Yu's heart. Burying demons is so rewarding. Although it was only a first-tier minor spiritual body, its effect was not bad at all. As for the optional rewards, he chose the demonic starfist.
Demonic starfist, Evengrad, lower tier martial article.
Possesses concussive power, able to disrupt the spiritual energy, demonic chi, and other energies in an enemy's body.
Another Evengrad martial article.
And it could counter cultivators and demons of the magic type. Bai Yu had been coveting this kind of martial art for a long time, and today he finally got it. He had another trump card for dealing with cultivators in the future. Without a word, he first smashed 1,000 life experience points into it, raising this fist art to the peak of perfection. Then, he opened the Burial Master's record and began to look at the memory fragments of the two purple demons. It turned out that these two purple demons were of great origin. They were both from the small demon realm, the sons of a demon city lord. A few months ago, they were captured by the Leiyang sect's demon-hunting cultivators. But on the way, a black-robed man passed them a demonic secret art, the art of corpse revival. The only use of this secret art was for demons to feign death. Once used, not only would all signs of life disappear, but even their luck would be like that of a dead person. As long as someone obtained their corpses within 7 days of their death and set up a reverse formation, they could be resurrected. As it turned out, they were both targeted by Bai Yu. Their fake dream became a real one, and they really died. Bai Yu's heart turned cold as he read this. To what extent has the demonic infiltration of the demon burial pagoda reached? This is not a place to stay for long. Bai Yu collected his thoughts, and after confirming that the battlefield had been cleaned up, his figure suddenly flashed, and he left the area of the demonic formation. Then he slammed a fist into his chest, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Then he took out a spirit talisman and slapped it on his body. A green light wrapped around him, and he flew rapidly towards the demon burial pagoda. A moment later, he crashed into the tomb chamber, his voice weak. Help! The others in the tomb chamber were startled and immediately gathered around him. Master Shashing looked surprised and hurried forward to check Bai Yu's injuries.
Amitabha, Frien, what happened?
The Xiexia Han Li quickly took out a healing pill and fed it to Bai Yu. Friend Wu Cheng, how did you get so badly injured? Bai Yu said weakly, quick. Report it. I encountered demons. The two purple demons' jade coffins were stolen. Luckily, I had a wood shield talisman and managed to escape. Everyone hurriedly helped him back to rest. Not long after, Qing Shi and Master Shashing came in with a few people. One of them, a woman in a blue dress, was a peak golden core expert. Wu Chang, Qing Shi said, this is the demon burial vice-general, Lord Qiu Ho. Bai Yu struggled to salute. This subordinate pays his respects to Lord Qiu Ho. On the second floor of the demon burial pagoda, besides the 3 generals, the celestial official, the earth official, and the water official, there were also 6 demon burial vice-generals, Marquis Chun, Marquis Xia, Marquis Qiu, Marquis Dong, Earl Feng, and Viscount Yu. Qiu Ho was the Earth Official General's deputy. The woman in the blue dress's gaze was like a torch, as if it could see through Bai Yu's soul. Tell me about the matter of the jade coffins in detail.
Donotomie à single detail.
Bai Yu had already prepared a story, but he still pretended to be in shock. Reporting to Lord Qiu Ho, it was like this. I took 2 jade coffins out to bury, and suddenly saw a woman in white in front of me. When she turned around, she had no face. I turned and ran. The thunder fire lantern in my hand went out. Then 2 men blocked my way. I thought I was dead for sure. But for some reason, one of the men was suddenly eaten by the faceless woman. And I fought with the other man. Bai Yu's story was 9 parts true and 1 part false, woven together seamlessly. Qiu Ho's gaze was as sharp as a knife, as if to pierce Bai Yu's soul. And how did you escape? Don't tell me they just watched you run away while they were fighting amongst themselves. A look of pain appeared on Bai Yu's face. Lord Qiu Ho, I am actually a talisman master. I spent a great deal of effort to draw a high-quality wood shield talisman. It was thanks to that wood shield talisman that I managed to escape. But I was still hit by a demon's attack. Qiu Ho's face was as cold as ice. She went forward to check Bai Yu's injuries. After a while, her expression softened slightly.
Trou demonique fist.
This is the inherited ultimate technique of the Li demon lineage.
You reluki used a talisman.
If you had used your own escape art, you would have been dead long ago. She questioned Bai Yu over and over again. Bai Yu's answers were fluent, and he reported everything he had done that day. He also deliberately mentioned that before he left, Bai Shi had come over to flatter him, which was very unusual, and that a few days ago, he seemed to have felt a faint demonic qi in a moment of daze. Qiu Ho listened with a cold face and then left Bai Yu's room. Bai Yu relaxed slightly. He had hinted so much. If there really was a mole in the tomb area, the higher-ups should be able to find it. He activated his wind-hearing ears and heard Qiu Ho's voice outside. Have you checked this guy's information? Is he lying? Bai Yu activated his wind-hearing ears and heard Qiu Ho say, is this Wu Cheng guy lying? Just then, the voice of the general's personal guard, Dao Feng, came. Reporting to my lord, the stargazing compass shows no abnormalities. Everything Wu Cheng said is true. Bai Yu smiled faintly. He had not only used a dream-weaving art to create a reasonable alibi for himself, but he had also raised his true and false heart art, which was used to deal with lie detection, to the point of perfection. It had cost him a full 110 million life experience points. Although the cost was huge, it was all worth it. Bai Yu was even somewhat confident that he could deceive a nascent soul patriarch. Just then, Qiu Ho's voice came again from outside. Have you found out Wu Cheng's information? Dao Feng replied, he is indeed a talisman master, and of a high grade. Some time ago, he was accepted as a disciple by Wu Weizi of the Demon Dispelling Pavilion. According to the people in the tomb area, Wu Cheng is usually not abnormal. He is a diligent cultivator and has taken on the task of burying demons to save time for cultivation. The possibility of him encountering an accident is indeed higher. Since Wu Cheng is not lying, Qiu Ho said, then this is troublesome. Those demons are so arrogant as to ambush and kill a demon burial cultivator within the demon's domain. I will report this to the 3 officials and conduct a thorough investigation of the demon burial pagoda to find the traitor. The weight in Bai Yu's heart finally lifted. If the higher-ups took this seriously, they might really be able to find the so-called traitor. Once the traitor was eliminated, he wouldn't have to live in fear. However, just then, he heard a strange whisper from outside.
Dit Maxipaya.
Bai Yu's hair stood on end. Demon language. Right now, only Qiu Ho and Dao Feng were outside. Could one of them be a demon? Both of them were the Earth Official General's trusted subordinates. If they were demons, the Earth Official General should have noticed. Then the Earth Official General was also very suspicious. Bai Yu's face remained impassive, but he felt a chill run from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. One of the 3 great generals, the Earth Official General, and one of the 8 great vice-generals, Qiu Ho, could be demons. Combined with the various signs from before, the demonic infiltration was already very serious. The 3 great generals were all nascent soul experts, the strongest fighting force on the surface. The other experts were on the 3rd floor and above, suppressing the Xian and Zi demons. Unless it was a sect-destroying disaster, those old monsters wouldn't come out. And if a nascent soul expert could be infiltrated by demons, was there any safe place on the 2nd floor of the demon burial pagoda? This place is too dangerous. Continuing to stay here is like staying on a volcano. One day it will erupt, and I'll be blown to bits. No, I have to find a way to leave this demon burial pagoda.
A strong sense of fear rose in Bai Yuesat. A Wiseman does not stand under a crumbling wall.
The demon burial pagoda was good, but the danger was too great. In the following days, Bai Yu did not see any action from the higher-ups. The large-scale search and surveillance he had expected did not happen. However, people kept coming to visit him. For example, Qing Shi patted Bai Yu's shoulder and said, Wu Cheng, just rest and recover.
Don't worry about anything else.
I'll arrange for friend Shaxing to take over your duties. Yuan Wu, who had heard the news from somewhere, also came to bring Bai Yu a bottle of healing pills. Master told me to tell you, as long as you're still breathing, you still have to make 100 demon-breaking swords.
Not one less.
But when Bai Yu opened the jade bottle, he found that it contained an earth-grade, upper-tier pill, the wood-nourishing transformation pill. This pill had an extremely strong healing effect. Even a severed arm or leg could be restored with a single pill. Although Taoist Wu Wei had a foul mouth, he was truly generous. Bai Yu could only express to Yuan Wu that he would recover as soon as possible and do his best to complete the task. The most unexpected thing was that Xue Mei also came over. She would make some delicious food for Bai Yu every few days, which actually made him feel a little embarrassed. A few days later, Bai Yu pretended to have recovered from his serious injuries and was about to make his next move. But that night, another problem came to him. The demonic shadow of the purple demon in his sea of consciousness had revived. Not only that, but the purple demon was also wearing a pair of red embroidered shoes. Bai Yu's mind buzzed as if a basin of cold water had been poured over him, chilling him to the bone. How could this be? I clearly suppressed it with a demon-dispelling treasure. How could it revive? And it's even connected to the demonic chi I encountered before. This time, the sutra of sitting and forgetting was completely useless. He couldn't forget the purple demon in his mind at all. Even when Bai Yu lit the yin-yang red candle and suppressed it with the purple mystic bow, the shadow in his mind only faded. In the end, the shadow turned into a purple ball of light, occupying a corner of his sea of consciousness. Even the 2 demon-dispelling treasures couldn't seal it. Now, he could only rely on the Golden Light Mantra and the Ice Heart Art. The Golden Light Mantra was out of the question. Although he had it, he couldn't use it. So now, his only hope was the Ice Heart Art. Helpless, Bai Yu had to first go to Weizi's place, hand in 50 demon-breaking swords, and exchange them for 25,000 contribution points. With the contribution points, he bought the Ice Heart Art.
Ice Atar, Earth Grade, Middle Tier.
Can be used to suppress distracting thoughts and refine spiritual sense. That night, he sat cross-legged, chanting the scripture. My heart is as clear as ice, heaven and earth do not startle me. All changes are stable, my spirit is at ease and my chi is calm. A cool sensation flowed through Bai Yu's body. His mind became incredibly clear, and all distracting thoughts vanished. After chanting the scripture over and over, the ball of demonic light in his mind finally disappeared, and the image of the purple demon was forgotten by the sutra of sitting and forgetting. And Bai Yu also noticed that his spiritual sense seemed to have undergone a subtle change. Thank goodness the Ice Heart Art is effective. But I still need to find a way to master the golden light mantra for an extra layer of insurance. Bai Yu rested his chin in his hand, his brain working at full speed. This demonic shadow revived too suddenly. And for some reason, it's wearing a pair of red embroidered shoes. Red embroidered shoes. That was the demonic chi I encountered on the first floor of the demon burial pagoda. Could someone have done something to me?
Who could it be?
Even with his usual intelligence, Bai Yu couldn't figure it out. But he had come to one conclusion: the demon burial pagoda was a place of trouble, and he had to leave, the sooner the better. But leaving the demon burial pagoda was not that simple. In the following days, Bai Yu discreetly made inquiries. And what do you know, he found a way. That was to accumulate 10,000 demon refining points and become a demon refining envoy. Demon refining envoys could accept missions outside the sect and would often go to the various vassal states of the Dali kingdom. Right now, he only had over 1,000 demon refining points, far from the 10,000 he needed. And demon refining points could only be obtained in the small demon realm. It seemed he had to go on this second small demon realm trip. And this time, it was best to accumulate 10,000 demon refining points. Bai Yu had not planned to enter the small demon realm again, but plans change. Now, the demon burial pagoda was more dangerous than the small demon realm. He made up his mind to go to the small demon realm and get 100 million demon refining points. After making his decision, he quickly took action. He practiced alchemy to increase his magic power and drew talismans to prepare for what was to come. He even gave Lao Mo an order to hurry up and modify his invention to increase the power of the explosive flame rocket. Lao Mo worked overtime and finally produced a satisfactory result in half a month. Woof woof woof. I've worked so hard. During this time, Bai Yu was also busy, drawing talismans, practicing alchemy, meditating, and cultivating. He even forged a few complete demon-breaking swords. Of course, his cultivation progress was also very gratifying. He successfully reached 51% of the late stage of foundation establishment, and his true essence strength reached 3,506. In the last few days, he cooked a feast and handed over the remaining 50 demon-breaking swords to Wuweizi. Master, I've successfully completed the mission. Wuweizi nodded in satisfaction. As expected of a 100 skills spirit body, your mastery of the 100 arts of cultivation is astonishingly fast. He waved his hand and gave Bai Yu 15,000 contribution points. Bai Yu said cheekily, Master, can I get another advance of 3?
Ah, contribution point.
Wuweizi stuffed a piece of braised pork into his mouth. I was wondering why you were cooking for me today.
So that is what you were after.
You're planning to enter the small demon realm again. Bai Yu nodded. Hee, Master is sharp-eyed, far-sighted, wise and brilliant, and extraordinarily intelligent. Bai Yu rattled off a string of compliments. Taoist Wuwei waved his hand. Stop. I'm not falling for that. But the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curve up. He transferred another 30,000 contribution points to Bai Yu. Taoist Wuwei took a sip of the 100-flower honey wine. There's going to be a big event this time, not like last time. Since you've decided to go, I won't stop you. Take this.
Don't die in there.
He flicked his finger, and an object landed in Bai Yu's hand. Bai Yu looked closely and saw a glittering golden talisman with a green flag drawn on it. A talisman treasure. Bai Yu was overjoyed. Taoist Wuwei is truly generous, to give a talisman treasure right off the bat.
Master, your disciple will never forget your great kin.
Taoist Wuwei curled his lip.
If you die in there and disgrace me.
This wind-spreading flag talisman treasure is good for escaping. Cherish it. Master, don't worry, Bai Yu said. Your disciple is very lucky. After bidding farewell to Taoist Wuwei, Bai Yu bought a lot more materials. Finally, the day of the second small demon realm trip arrived. Bai Yu and Yuan Wu's group were once again teleported to another space. But this time, besides their small team, there was also an elite army of several thousand iron-armored soldiers. The weakest among them was at the late stage of chi refinement, and there were even golden core experts. Just then, a surging and powerful aura descended from the sky. It was a golden-armored old man with white hair and beard, holding a dragon-headed staff. He stood in the air, his aura as deep as an abyss. I am the celestial official, Qingyue. Break the demon city, completely conquer this small demon realm, and turn demons into immortals. His gaze swept over the crowd below. Bai Yu was shocked, as if his very soul had been seen through. The celestial official general, the head of the 3 great generals, has come in person. This is going to be a tough fight. Punish evil and promote good, expel demons and protect the way. By the blood of our ancestors, the Leiyang sect. A few thousand demon refiners shouted in unison, their voices shaking the heavens. Immortal path is prosperous, demons are destroyed. Victory! Victory! The others were also infected and shouted along, their spirits soaring. Even Bai Yu couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. The celestial official general in the sky, seeing that the time was right, smiled and nodded. Set out. In this battle, we will dispel demons and promote the way. Instantly, The ground rumbled and shook. The entire demon hunting camp actually lifted off the ground and flew into the sky. The camp was actually a huge floating ship. The ship was crackling with lightning as it flew rapidly through the air. An hour later, they saw a massive, ancient, and rugged stone city in the distance. Just then, teams of cultivators flew down from the floating ship. Bai Yu's small squad also disembarked and landed on the ground. The main force for attacking the demon city was the Celestial Official General's demon hunting guards. They didn't need small, scattered squads like Bai Yu's. After landing on the ground, Yuan Wu took a deep breath. Our mission is to clear out the strongholds around the demon city. If we can lure out the experts from the city, even better. This time is much more dangerous than last time. Everyone, be careful. Use whatever techniques you have. Everyone responded in unison and took out their own demon-dispelling treasures. Bai Yu also held his purple mystic bow, with several defensive shields around him, ready to strike. The group headed northeast. It wasn't long before they encountered their first demon. It was an upper-grade Song demon. Seeing Bai Yu's group, it didn't fear them at all and roared as it charged. Swoosh! A sharp arrow cut through the air, and from several li away, it pierced the Song demon, pinning it to the ground. The demon-dispelling runes on the arrowhead activated, suppressing the Song demon. Yuan Wu couldn't help but praise junior brother Wu Chang, excellent archery. Shui Mei also smiled at Bai Yu. Junior brother is getting more and more amazing. Even the usually arrogant Luo Feng was a little moved. This level of archery could be called masterly. Bai Yu smiled and waved his hand. Senior brother and senior sister are too kind. Let's hurry up and seal this Song demon. An upper-grade Song demon is worth 50 demon refining points. Before Bai Yu could act, Luo Feng had already sealed and collected the Song demon. The group continued through the wasteland, encountering a demon every now and then. If it was a Song demon, Bai Yu would take care of it from a distance. If it was a lone Qi demon, the 5 of them would surround and attack it. Along the way, they had a good harvest, killing several demons and even obtaining 3 demon jades. However, Bai Yu estimated that the demon refining points each person could get would only be a little over 100, far from his goal of 10,000. Finally, in the afternoon, they climbed a hill. Luo Feng, who was scouting ahead, sent back a message. He had found a demon camp with at least 20 demons. Yuan Wu signaled for everyone to conceal their presence and wait for Luo Feng to return. Not long after, Luo Feng returned silently. How many Qi demons are there? Yuan Wu asked in a low voice. I can see one with my eyes, Luo Feng said, but according to my perception, there should be another one inside. Yuan Wu became contemplative.
Tout Qi démon, over 20 camps démons.
For our small squad to take them on without any injuries would be a bit difficult. Ji Yu, Yuan Wu's Dao companion, quickly said, a head-on confrontation is indeed dangerous. But if we can lure them out and defeat them one by one, we should be able to kill all the demons without any injuries. And a demon camp might have a lot of demon jades or even origin stones. Just then Bai Yu said, leave the task of luring them out to me. I'll take care of luring out the demons, Bai Yu said. As he spoke, he took out a spherical object. Junior brother Wu Chang, what is that? Yuan Wu asked, puzzled.
Bayus Miled.
An explosive flame rocket. It has a few explosive flame talismans inside. This was Lao Mo's masterpiece. This rocket contained a full 100 explosive flame talismans. It was only because Bai Yu's success rate with explosive flame talismans was 100% that he could let Lao Mo play like this. Any other talisman master wouldn't dare to be so wasteful. Bai Yu fixed the rocket in place and aimed at the demon camp. He muttered something, as if singing a song or chanting a spell. Swoosh! The rocket shot through the air towards the demon camp. Streams of black Qi shot out from the demon camp, trying to intercept the rocket. But Bai Yu, seeing this, was not flustered at all. He took a step back.
Junior brother, why are you stepping back?
Shui Mei asked, puzzled.
Bang! En explosion rocket the sky above the demon camp.
A mushroom-shaped cloud of fire rose into the air, spreading out in all directions. The aftershock of the fire even reached Yuan Wu's group, singeing their faces. Only Bai Yu, who had taken a step back, escaped unscathed. I forgot to mention, Bai Yu said, the blast radius of the explosive flame rocket is 100 zhang. The range is also 100 zhang. Yuan Wu and the others were speechless. Just then, the demon camp below was engulfed in flames. Demons scattered from the fire, most